No one said you could touch.
Bayonetta 2 is a hack-and-slash action game released in 2014 by Platinum Games, originally for the Wii U, followed by the Nintendo Switch, and predictably, nothing else. I played the first Bayonetta a few years ago on PC and fell instantly in love. For the longest time I had only played Western games. These days, not so much.
Welcome to Highguard.
And it wasn't until now that we have the hardware, the technology, and the team to make that dream a reality.
Imagine my delight when I was finally introduced to a new games developer. Japan. Despite playing it nearly 2 decades after it came out, I was blown away by what Platinum Games had cooked up, and Bayonetta kickstarted my love affair with Japanese games, along with Final Fantasy XIV. After the first game, the Bayonetta franchise was essentially saved by Nintendo, who agreed to fund and publish a sequel. And if you were worried that they planned to take Bayo in a family-friendly direction, well, the first thing they did was team up with Playboy to market the game. Thanks, Reggie.
My body is ready.
This is Pamela Horton, avid gamer, Nintendo fan, and hell, she even asked to come back and do it again. And it's important I mention this because Bayonetta is more than a video game character, she's an icon. A sex symbol.
Groovy, baby!
In playing these games, you realise that Bayonetta, both the character and the game, are so much deeper than people gave them credit. Which is why I couldn't help myself and did something a little bit extra. But that's for much later. This is a long one, so let me quickly say spoiler warning. Mechanics, story, consider the entire game spoiled. If you'd like a spoiler-free review, I made a 3-hour video and painted a model. Yeah, it's 10 out of 10. This is not only my first review on a console, this is my first console, not counting Pokemon Silver on the Game Boy Advance. And if you think that makes me old, dude, I got Columbo on DVD.
This is the best cake I have ever eaten.
Okay, enough fucking rambling, onto the gameplay. Once I've selected a save slot and choose to play the story, I'm given a choice between 3 difficulties. I'm not stupid enough to try hard, but I ain't no pussy, I'm just a fan, so I go for normal. Bayonetta 2 starts off by running the camera straight across Bayo and into a crotch shot. Just like the first game, we're thrust headfirst into fighting angels, with narration providing what I'm sure is backstory, but I am struggling to pay attention because I'm half taking in the visual splendour before me and half no idea what I'm doing. For those that don't know, you play Bayonetta, a witch with style, sex appeal and powerful hair magic. There is no tutorial or guide for how to play just yet. This is by design. It's just throwing you in here to test out buttons, which I appreciate as I am that guy who pushes something to see what it does. I barely get a chance to breathe because Bayo slips into this sweet mecha number and starts punching big hulking angels, before this big dude comes down with a huge sword and I get smacked about like a prank streamer. I don't actually kill him because what I can only describe as something else happens and we're confronted by a Lumen Sage.
A Lumen Sage? Cheeky.
Then we cut back to present day, right where the first game left off, with Baldur lying on the ground and the remains of Jubileus, aka Marble Mommy, having landed right beside him. I'm then presented with the level select screen. Oh, it's just like Bayonetta. I'm going to talk about the prologue in detail here because it's one of the finest openings for a game since, well, the first Bayonetta. I've added a chapter so you can jump straight to the combat if you wish, but you're missing out. It's Christmas, and Enzo is doing his shopping, or at least he was planning to, but he's ended up being a porter for Bayonetta's purchases.
You know what I need? Some heels without guns. You don't mind if we make a quick stop, do you, Enzo?
Do you know what day's coming up? Here I was shopping, minding my own business, then you show up and turn me into a damn porter.
I love her. Anyway, this is a long cutscene.
A jet! I want a toy jet!
A very long cutscene. I've recently reviewed the Halo trilogy and I commented on how you're never sat endlessly waiting for a cutscene to end. It just puts you right in the thick of it, and the short cinematics are a welcome change of pace, unlike its complete opposite, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
I see people down there.
Hope they're friendly.
I'll let you do the talking.
No, don't talk. I want to raid tombs. Fuck. A game made unplayable by constant cutscenes the length of a short feature film, gameplay that consistently takes control away from the player, and you're just sitting there, waiting to get back to playing the game.
I said don't break anything.
Someone else is on the fucking phone.
Hey, Abby, I can explain.
Then there is Bayonetta 2, with an intro cutscene that is both gloriously gratuitous and gratuitously long. I'm sitting here the better part of 8 minutes waiting to play the game.
Whoa, shit!
The difference is I'm grinning from ear to ear and loving every second. It's entertaining, and it was part of the charm for the first game to have long cutscenes. I'll talk about the story later, but for now, know that the trio's shopping plans go awry, and the lead up to giving you back the reins to Bayonetta is sublime. Because you know it's coming, and then bam, we're on a jet fighting some sort of centaur angels, and the first thing Bayonetta does is mount him like a horse. For fuck's sake, look at this. What do I need to say? She's literally back in the saddle, smiling with glee, the sun at her back as Moon River plays. Fucking cinema.
This is the best cake I've ever eaten.
The game then hits me with a full screen message informing me Bayonetta can be played with touch controls. There's a joke here, but I'm too grown up to make it. So instead I grab the thumbstick and push Bayo's buttons. Rather than pop up tutorial boxes, the game creates a practice environment for you to learn the ropes. X to punch, A to kick. Combine them to create combos. I'm glossing over these systems for now so I can talk about the intro experience, but you get as much time as you need to get to grips with the most basic controls. You decide when to leave the practice environment, which I approve of. Once you do, you're back on the jet, faced with a small group of angels. Now, this is not the first time I've played this prologue. I recorded my first attempt on a different capture card, but the footage was choppy and my gameplay was embarrassing, to say the least.
The shadow remains cast!
Yeah, I've heard that before. Let's get it out of the way. I have never used a controller for anything other than Pokemon Sword. I'm not going to let that sour my review.
I've seen horrors that you've seen.
My lack of skill won't reflect upon my opinion. That's what review websites are for. And honestly, I gotta praise how easy it felt to handle Bayo out of the box. At first, I kept switching my weapons randomly. That's because the weapon switch button is right next to the dodge trigger. Fortunately for me, the game comes with 4 control schemes, and I find that Control Scheme D switches those triggers around, which felt more comfortable for me. I'm learning, and truthfully, after expecting to rip my dick off without my keyboard, this is the best experience I've ever had with a controller. My ability with this esoteric interface does improve, so my gameplay footage will get better. If you're watching this video and pulling your hair out, then please stop, because by the end of this review you're going to look like Agent 47. While fighting, Bayonetta's guns break, but that's okay because it's Christmas.
Rodan? But I don't believe in sin!
Watch your mouth, Itzo.
Rodan is back, and he's brought some accessories for our girl. Love is Blue, your new signature weapons come in an appropriately blue heart-shaped box. Now a new mechanic I'll talk about later, Umbran Climax. This lets me build up my magic gauge to use infernal weaves, which are different to wicked weaves. Look, this game is a roller coaster at the start, just go with it. Eventually we find ourselves on a train fighting a hulking tentacle arm angel called Belief. Most new foes are introduced in the classic Bayonetta style, with an angelic golden tome naming them and detailing their place in the hierarchy of heaven. Look at this. This is in the first 20 minutes of the game. Jean catches up to help us take down Belief, and veterans will know how this ends. Big enemy means big finish. A climax attack will result in Bayonetta summoning a demon of hell and binding it with her hair magic. Our old friend Smiler shows up and eats him. But something goes wrong. Gamora breaks free of his bonds and turns on the witches. For the first time ever, we see a red grimoire. We are about to face a demon of hell. Jean gets hit by a death blow shielding Bayonetta, and we see her soul get dragged down into the pit. What follows is just fucking amazing.
I'm not one for pets who don't listen to their masters.
Bayonetta sprouts wings and flies while we fight the unbound demon as it scales a skyscraper Kong style. This fight is simplistic, in fact arguably more simplistic than the train angel that just wrecked me. But this is a thematic fight in my opinion. What it represents is more important than its mechanical complexity. We slay it by summoning another demon and then we find ourselves, the gates of hell.
Chewie, we're home.
And the freeze frame cutscene style returns beautiful. We have 3 problems. First, Rodin and Bayonetta muse that for the demonic summon to turn on the witches, something bad must be happening on a cosmic scale. Second, Jean's body lies lifeless in a glass coffin, and there is now a deadline to save her soul before it's absorbed into hell. And finally, Enzo's got to get home for Christmas.
And I still gotta play Santa tonight.
I love this so much. Every part of the game up until now was a train of fan service in every sense of the word. Angels, camera angles, funny dialogue and absurd cutscenes, but then Bayonetta hits you with something new. For the entire first game, these half-hair manifestations, half-summoned demons were the biggest weapons in your arsenal, in the sense that they came in to finish the job. Now they've turned on you, and it finishes with this stark image of Bayonetta holding Jean in her arms as it begins to rain, reminding us that Bayonetta is more than just the obvious. Both the character and the game are deeper. We get the familiar, we get something new, we've got a ticking clock, a personal mission, and a new threat that thematically fits in with the old. We're fighting angels, now we've also got to worry about demons. I know I said this already, but it's the alchemical formula of mixing the new with the old in equal measure. It's why I loved Halo 2 so much, and Bayonetta has the exact same energy of we are so back. At the end of every level you get a scorecard to see how well you did. Bronze. I'll take bronze, it's my first time with a controller, come on. Little side note, but that demonic grimoire was actually in the original game files. I know, because I had a look. So at some point, demons may have been an intended enemy in the first game. So anyway, with all that said, let's talk about the most important thing. Bayonetta's outfit. No, combat. We're talking about the combat. I'll talk about the outfit later. Just like the first game, it is insanely easy to approach, but as complex as you're willing to make it. Punching and kicking. Your punches are fast, light attacks using your hands, while your kicks are slower, heavy attacks using your feet. It's an important distinction because Bayonetta's guns are on both her hands and feet, and they each have a ranged attack element to them. Chaining these attacks together forms any number of combo attacks. Completing a combo will usually result in a wicked weave. These are magical moves that take the form of Bayonetta's hair, coming down in heeled stomps or punches. This is why she tends to lose part of her outfit when it happens, because she's quite literally wearing her hair, and some of it has to go into her spell. Listen, of all the excuses for a character to lose their clothes, it's one of the more creative ones.
So you managed to get your shirt off.
As an example of a combo, Punch Kick Punch is one of my favourites because it's simple and quick. I can tap the buttons quickly or hold each one down for a second or so. Holding an attack lets Bayo fire her guns, increasing the damage I deal. It doesn't break the combo however, so I can then tap another button and resume it. It helps me hold combos should I choose to before finishing with a wicked weave. This system gives the player so much freedom to have fun. Most combos are forgiving, so it isn't like a fighting game where I'm struggling to memorize my most basic of moves while Mai stomps me over and over again. I'm not losing on purpose, I swear. Bayo's combos are simple to remember. They become muscle memory in minutes, not hours. Add to that, a lot of them have similar lead-ins, so you'll have more than one combo that begins with 2 punches. Do I want to end the combo with a kick or maybe throw 2 more punches? Oh, fuck it, I'll slide into a breakdance instead. The game encourages you to build combos for multiple reasons. First of all, completing a combo and casting the Wicked Weave will deal more damage than just a regular attack. Wicked Weaves will reflect the combo you've just performed, and change depending on your sequence, finisher, and selected weapons, because oh yes, Bayonetta has a small armory to switch through. We'll get to that later. Some Wicked Weaves impact multiple enemies, knock enemies up, down, or away, they can bash them into a dazed state faster, they do all sorts of things. At the top of the screen is your green health bar, and beneath it your magic gauge. The health bar is obvious. The emptier it is, the more unhealthy your lifestyle. The magic gauge is a little bit more complex. The purple orbs will fill up as you fight, and the more impressive your combo meter, the more magic you get. Once you've reached a threshold, you'll be able to perform certain moves, but also activate a torture attack. This is one of my favourite mechanics from the first game. Bayonetta will single out an enemy and knock them into a conjured torture machine. These attacks are brutal in their execution, and they're always a spectacle to watch. Killing an enemy with a torture attack will cause them to drop their weapon, but we'll chat about that later. New to Bayonetta 2 is the Umbran Climax. When your magic gauge reaches at least one full bar, you can hit the button to just go crazy. While Umbran Climax is active, every single attack will be a wicked weave. This means depending on your combos and weapons, you can deal huge damage to a boss or an entire group of enemies with insane range on your attacks. Add to that, since completing a combo conjures a wicked weave, completing an Umbran combo will momentarily summon a demon depending on your equipped weapon. My favourite summon is this big Chad Frog demon who reminds me of the Naga Glutton from Age of Wonders. Your Umbran Climax drains magic gauge over time, and I approve of another purpose for the magic resource, which if I'm honest I only used for torture attacks in Bayo 1. There's also the choice of waiting for a full bar to climax or using a torture attack, especially since torture attacks render you invincible during the animation. It's a good way to lock down an enemy you'd rather not fight. Okay, so we want to finish combos to unleash wicked weaves and help us build the magic gauge to use fancy moves. There's a gameplay incentive for completing combos, but even more importantly, it's just very satisfying, and that's what Bayonetta is all about. You'll also want to build combos to try for the highest award at the end of the chapter, ranging from stone all the way up to pure platinum. We're not done though, there is an additional incentive. Every angel you smack down will drop his pocket change in the form of halos, currency in the world of Bayonetta. It seems like there's quite the black market for holy symbols.
So this grail, what's that worth? What?
You'll also get a percentage of halos after completing a verse based on your performance in the battle. And since combos will help boost your score for a verse, there's a direct monetary incentive to be as extra as possible in your fighting technique.
You've been naughty.
Speaking of money, since Enzo is now a successful businessman, we borrow his private jet to help us get Jean back, meaning Bayonetta must find the real gates of hell. Unfortunately, it's not signposted, but Enzo knows an old legend about a doorway to both Paradiso and Inferno.
They say there is an entrance to Inferno, the gates of hell, somewhere on this mountain. No one knows where, though.
Bayonetta and Enzo fly to Noaton, a sacred city at the foot of the mountain Fimbulvinter.
Oh, yeah!
With some lovely cinematography, the game truly begins, and Bayonetta leaps from the plane. Now that's a happy landing. After the non-stop action prologue, the opening of Chapter 1 gives us much needed breathing room. The Noaton docks are beautiful and highlight that there's more to the game than just slaying angels. I spot a golden lockbox at the end of the dock, making a return from Bayonetta 1. Smashing these open will release the rewards within. Oh, I wonder what's inside! It's a Reinhardt keychain. I also find a time-shifted lockbox. These are new to the sequel and dotted throughout the levels. Activating these will spawn fragments of time along a set path and start a countdown. You have to race to collect all the pieces, bringing the lockbox into the present so you can bash it open. The routes for these become quite creative and it's surprisingly fun. You may notice I'm currently a panther.
What's up, bitches? I'm a man-cheater.
If you tap dodge twice, you'll activate Panther mode, allowing Bayo to run insanely fast and take greater leaps, balanced by the fact you move so fast that turning corners becomes a struggle. While trying to catch a red bird, I fall in the drink. I assumed I'd just instantly die or hit an invisible wall, but no, I sink to the bottom. I had no idea Bayonetta could now go underwater. She doesn't swim, she walks. In any other game, that would be an incomplete swimming feature. In Bayonetta, that's just how we roll. But enough sightseeing. Angel attack. If attacking is your bread, then dodging is your butter. Dodging is the primary method of avoiding an enemy's attack. Tap dodge and Bayonetta will flip out of the way. You can dodge on the ground and in the air. It can be spammed, but only to a point. If you dodge too much, Bayo becomes exhausted and she'll need a breather, leaving her vulnerable to attack. Dodging at precisely the right moment, just before the enemy attack would hit, will activate Witch Time. Witch Time is a brief period where time slows down, allowing you to wail on your enemies uninterrupted. They will keep moving, however, so if you're not careful, it's easy to get smacked when time speeds back up. This system is essentially the same as Bayo 1, and I love it. Obviously, you want to dodge to avoid an attack. The punishment for failure is to lose health. The neutral outcome is dodging out of the attack, and the reward for a perfect dodge is Witch Time.
So close.
The system is far more satisfying because it pushes you to dodge perfectly, and gifts you with a window to let loose on your enemies. On normal, the game is friendly enough to forgive getting hit, but still pushes you into learning how to dodge. Some encounters will change the duration of Witch Time to be shorter, but it never feels cheap. It's part of the encounter. There is a mechanic called dodge offset, but I'm going to talk about that in a little while. For now, I'm dodging the subject. But how do you know when to dodge? Move telegraphing. Think of it like winding up a punch. Before the impact, you see the arm go back. And in a game like Bayonetta, it's essential. It's a mechanic to give the player a chance to recognize incoming danger, so they're not just reacting, they're prepared to react. And I have 3 gold standards for move telegraphing. Bayonetta 1, Elden Ring, and Mortar. There are probably others, I just think these games excel at move telegraphing. It's no surprise then that Bayonetta 2 lives up to the original. Some attacks are very fast with short animations. This isn't a problem, it's more to punish the player for bad behaviour. If your positioning is bad or you're getting greedy, you're going to get hit. The majority of the moves are fast enough to present a challenge, but slow enough to see coming, which is an ideal balance. There is almost always some sort of animation, effect, or sound to give you fair warning. Most fights take place in Thunderdome. An angelic barrier goes up, feathers begin to fall, and the battle begins. I lock 10 angels and 1 witch in a room with no food or water. The winner gets a new car. What these angels don't realise is I'm not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with... Oh fuck, I'm dead!
Together.
When you've punched, kicked and dodged your way to victory, the reward for triumphing over a powerful enemy is a climax attack. These are pure spectacle, with some button mashing for extra points. They return from the first game, and you're always happy to see them as a reward for your victory.
If you'll excuse me, I'm next.
As I work my way through Noaton like a tide of naughtiness, Rodan appears from a red portal to check up on his guns.
Tell me how my babies are doing.
They're behaving quite well.
He lets us know that he'll supply us in our fight against the angels so long as we bring him halos.
My business is making things that do business. So don't come crying to me when you think you gotta do everything alone. I'm here to help. Just make sure you don't bust a cap at my ass.
Bayo veterans will love this. It's calling back to a similar cutscene in the first game, while demonstrating Bayonetta doesn't repeat herself.
How do the Americans put it? Oh yes, bust a cap in yo ass.
Right on, baby. Right on.
I'll chat about the story later, but there's a lot more to this scene than just, hey, remember Rodan? Stepping through the portal ourselves will bring us to Rodan's bar, the Gates of Hell. From here we can purchase accessories to equip, consumable items to use, new techniques to perform, and cosmetics. The price in Halos ranges from small to a small fortune. Accessories are items that can provide boons or change the way you play. The Infernal Communicator, for example, will allow you to summon impish assistants to deal more damage, draining your magic gauge while active. Celine's Light automatically activates Witch Time when you get hit, again for a magic gauge cost. The Moon of Mahakala will let Bayonetta parry attacks and so on. The accessories are entirely optional and I can only approve of them. You can have something to work towards buying and they can help you craft a playstyle you're happy with. Hell, the parry item can totally change the way you play the game, from dodging acrobat to Elden Ring parry master. You'll find lollipops throughout the game and these can be used to restore health and fill your magic gauge. These were present in Bayonetta 1, but I never used them because it counted against your score for the level. That is not the case in Bayonetta 2. You can munch lollipops until you're nauseous, but you will get a bonus of points at the end for not having used any consumables. Not only can you buy them at Rodan's, you can also craft them with reagents. The techniques you can purchase range from passives that allow you to fly to sick flying kicks that send enemies into the air or bring them hurtling back to Earth. He'll also sell cosmetics like outfits, clearly the most important thing in the shop, and they need to be unlocked while playing the game. After some more Christmas shopping, I encounter what I can only describe as pint-sized Ali G.
Shite. I'm never going to reach Fimbulventa at this rate.
It seems Bayonetta is not the only spellcaster here, and this mouthy kid can see the angels as well as put up a fight.
You'll have to do better than that to earn a tip, my dear.
Who the hell are you?
I'm just an innocent little girl lost in Wonderland, suffering at the hands of the Queen's trumped-up troops.
Cute one, huh?
After a little exchange, we're attacked by the Funbusters, introducing a chunkier centaur. But hooves are no match for heels. Upon smashing them to pieces, a familiar golden LP appears, and I know from experience to take it back to the Gates of Hell.
You know, I'm all about them angelic hymns gold LPs.
Halos are good for purchasing anything except new weapons. Only vinyl is accepted downstairs, and trading these into Rodan will reward a weapon. The first one unlocks the Rakshaka, a deadly set of swords. The Rakshaka are fast weapons, hitting even faster than Bayonetta's guns, however at the cost of no ranged attack. You can however charge up a big attack that will deal increasingly spectacular damage. You can choose to equip them on your hands or feet, and your available combinations will change depending on your choice. The Rakshaka are the definition of fast attacks that never stop, to the point they are the only weapons where Bayonetta's Wicked Weave at the end of a combo will not stop you immediately attacking again. After unlocking some weapons like the Rakshaka, you'll be able to purchase production copies from Rodan, and these copies are purchased with Halos. Doing so will allow you to equip all Bayo's limbs with the same weapon, so you can absolutely run around using the 4-sword technique, and the combos for this are fucking ridiculous, but glorious. With the Rakshaka equipped, she even does the Area 51 Naruto run, for crying out loud, an animation I love for so many reasons. Hello, it's me from the future. I want you to know that yes, I know the swords are actually called the Rakshasha. It was a recurring mistype in my script. It's a great name for a weapon because Rakshasha is a type of being akin to a demon in Buddhism and Hinduism. Perfect fit for Bayo's swords. Meanwhile, Rakshaka is a 2025 Bollywood movie. You can see why I chose not to fix it. The Undyne are the complete opposite of the Rakshaka. They're slow and all about their ranged attack. I just love these so much because they are dual-wieldable flamethrowers.
My favourite.
They roast, they cook, you can stick them on Bayo's feet, where performing a simple combo will result in her doing an arse-up full 360 circular sweep of napalm delivered through hills. If you haven't yet seen the appeal of this game,
what's wrong with you?
The wicked weaves that come with the Undyne unleash a barrage of flame coupled with a fire serpent and burning hills. But that's not all. They aren't just flamethrowers, they're frost throwers. Fire will burn enemies, while frost damage will freeze enemies into blocks of ice that you can then pick up and throw at people. The attacks, however, are ridiculously slow. And I found it almost unusable without weaving faster weapons into the combos. Again, encouraging you to plan your loadouts to accommodate for the slower weapons. Simple game design that leads to player choice. I loved the Alruna. A pair of double demonic whips that are a strong all-rounder, fast attack, decent range, area of effect capacity, the ability to grab enemies and pull them in for a slam, and while Witch Time is active, you can even grapple some bosses with this ability. I love that so much. I hate when games give you an awesome ability before turning around an hour later and saying, actually that won't work on a boss. Maybe not in your fucking game, but Bayo has her own rules. There's an extra step for bosses. You have to activate Witch Time, but it will still work. Obviously, you can't wrap your Alruna around this big angel, that would be silly, but it works against the final boss of the game, so that's good enough for me. You can, with production copies, have 4 whips equipped. And just look at this. But not every weapon can be equipped to Bayo's feat. Some are handjobs only. The Chernobog is a huge lethal scythe with 3 blades for that extra close shave. It's slow, powerful, and comes with a huge arc. Its combos excel at dealing wide area of effect damage. It's very satisfying to use, but again, slow. And Bayonetta fights generally require a lot of speed, which is why the it's just a big fuck off hammer. That's it. You can smack enemies for massive damage with some of the slowest moves in the game, but wow, does it feel good to use. Best of all, it has a charge up attack that will bring the hammer down in a lightning crash. But what's special is the hammer will remain charged for a few seconds, so future attacks will deal even more damage. It's just enough time to get out a solid hammer combo. Risk and reward is how the slower weapons work. If you can pull off a full Chernobog combo, you'll deal massive area of effect damage. If you can charge up the hammer in a boss fight without being interrupted, you're going to be smacking that boss with the power of 4. Is any of this a good idea? No, almost certainly not. But it's fun. What better accessory for a lady than a chainsaw? How about 2 chainsaws? Enter Salamandra. Despite possessing no ranged attack, they play like a mix of your guns and dual blades. This is because unlike the Rakshaka, where holding an attack will charge up a big swing, the Salamandra can hold its swipes to rip and tear a bit longer before resuming the combo. So you get all up in their business, you hold the button down and watch them scream before you pull it out and do it again. They have a satisfying sound to them.
Is that all you've got?
Suffer not the demon to live. Salamandra do have a drawback. Any combos ending with them will not perform a wicked weave. The brilliance of Bayonetta is giving the player 2 weapon slots, because despite being simple, it lets you create loadouts to suit your playstyle. So just because the chainsaws don't provide wicked weaves, doesn't mean your guns have lost that power. You start combos with Salamandra, you finish with Love is Blue, bam, heal to the face. If you put the chainsaws on her feet, Bayonetta uses them as skates. Oh, chainsaws seem to be the way to go. And yeah, you were right, dodging helps. It's crazy. It's weird. Have you played this game before?
Sure. I have had 100% platinum all difficulties.
Oh, that's fucking incredible. Like every system in Bayonetta, it is obvious on the surface, but allows deeper complexity if you wish it. But how do you keep up chaining these combos, especially with the slower weapons, while you're being smacked in the face? This is where Dodge Offset comes in. Dodge Offset is a system that allows the player to effectively pause a combo to dodge. Okay, let's say you want to do a 5 combo chain. Dodge offset allows you to dodge between combo inputs. So if you're on that third punch, you see the enemy swipe coming and dodge while holding that punch. Bayonetta can then resume the combo, acting like it's one long move. This is so satisfying and perfectly fits the pacing of the game. You want to punish the player for getting hit, not for evading successfully. Imagine how shitty it would feel to execute a combo only to have it interrupted because you evaded perfectly. Great job, now start over. Instead, we have a system where a player can maintain a combo if they dodge in time. That's a masterstroke, and Bayonetta 1 had the exact same system. My favourite part about this is she'll slide across the floor Matrix style. It's so cool. In fact, just for fun, I tried to do a boss battle on hard with only Chernobog, and it was so slow that I got slapped about like you wouldn't believe. But sticking with it actually improved my skill with the dodge offset. The Kafka is a poisonous bow that fires stinging insects. It's truly different, and I have to applaud that. No pun intended. I will say the animations are fantastic and the design of the bow is spectacular, but I didn't gel with it as much as I'd hoped. It just felt alien to use in Bayonetta. That is, of course, until I tried Infinite Climax. I'll chat about the difficulty later, but suffice to say, I have beaten the game at its highest difficulty, and there were some elements I did not enjoy. Bayonetta's armory is not the only one she can bring to bear. Slaying an enemy with a torture attack will cause them to drop their angelic or demonic weapon. Bayonetta can pick it up by hitting Y and pop it on her back. The system was present in Bayonetta 1 but returns with a difference. In the first game, when Bayo picked up an angel weapon, it would completely replace her moveset. Punching would initiate a strong but basic combo string unique to that weapon. Kicking would activate the weapon's special attack. This was always fun, ranging from pole dancing on a staff to the hula trombone attack, personal favourites. Weapons had durability, so you couldn't use them for very long. Punching would get out some solid hits, but the special attack would use the remaining durability all in one go. In Bayonetta 2, the weapon instead slots on Bayo's back as an additional armament. Hitting Y will attack with the weapon, performing whatever move it has. Great swords that cause flame vents, big hammers, or longbow harps. The system is less complex, but allows more freedom. You don't have to pop your angel weapon immediately. You can keep your regular attacks and then use the angel or demon weapon when you feel like it. I think it's a good change, but I can understand why some might prefer Bayo 1's method instead. I didn't talk about it very much in my Bayo 1 review, but the weapon system in both games is great. Even if some weapons may feel more niche or awkward to use, you can tailor your loadout to be ready for anything or just pick what suits you best. Slow weapons like the Undyne or the Chernobog can be offset by having fast weapons on your feet, resulting in your heavy kick attacks actually being faster than your main hands. You can switch at any time, even during combat, by opening the journal. So if you're really regretting taking nothing but swords into that boss fight, just pause and change your loadout. The two weapon sets are for convenience, they're not a restriction. I'm mixed and matched for the purpose of the review, but I really like the loadout of whips and guns. It just felt so good no matter what I faced. Every weapon feels distinct, and they aren't just pointless variations. Love is Blue are far more than just your default weapons. They are a perfectly balanced weapon, while other weapons are certain aspects taken to extremes. The Rakshasa lets you feel like a whirlwind of death, moving quickly, never stopping. They are Bayonetta's speed. The Taki Mikazuki lets you feel like a mountain mover. It is Bayonetta's strength. The Kafka and Undyne are what happens when you focus on the ranged attack at the expense of the melee attack. It's fantastic weapon design, and when paired with the combo system plus the loadouts you can create, you're left with phenomenal combat. So those are the tools of your trade. What are you going to be smacking about most of the time playing Bayonetta? This time around, Bayo is not only contending with the Wrath of Paradiso, but also the Hordes of Hell.
Could we possibly make any more noise? I guess so.
So let's talk about the enemies. The centaur type enemies are the bread and butter of the angelic forces you'll be facing. Residing in the third sphere, they come in many types across 3 ranks. Acceptance, your standard angels, Accolade, your archangels, and Allegiance, the gilded Mega Chad principalities. One of the key features of the centaurs is they are large and slow to rotate, meaning it's quite easy to get behind them to attack. There's just one problem. They're centaurs. So they will kick the ever-loving shit out of you, and I got kicked more times than an orc in Dark Messiah. I love this. Getting behind an enemy is usually a surefire way to avoid their attacks, while having a free pass to deal damage. It still is to a degree, but there's an inherent risk to it because the kick attack is much faster than their regular attacks.
Got you.
The move telegraphing is much shorter and therefore far harder to dodge, so if you go around the back you've really got to lock in. That's good life advice as well. Speaking of plugging things, if you enjoy my reviews, please consider checking out my Patreon. If you like, you can support me from £1 a month or just join for free. A genuine thank you to my kind and exceptionally patient supporters and subscribers. Thank you guys. I like that the centaurs have their own weapon loadouts to counter you, like the old Affinity did. They present different threats with harp bows and spears. One type wield great hammers who are incredibly difficult to stun, but if you manage to do it, you can ride them just like Bayo does in the intro. Fantastic. Remember the Arbor from the first game, the Paladin mains? Well, they do not return in Bayonetta 2.
Cancelled.
However, some Accolades will wield giant shields, forcing the player to overcome their defenses. These guys will pivot their aim upwards, so you can't just jump up to attack. You need to break through their shield, counter their attack, or witch time to flank. Good design. These aren't meant to be a big threat on their own, they are the tank angels. You don't want to turn your back to them while you're dealing with another problem. Then there are these weird squid angels, these flying blade heads, and Gravitas and Urbane. These top-heavy boys fill the shoes of Beloved from the first game. They're big, slow. However, they're not just carbon copies. While slow, the key difference is in the Urbane's wind-up. Where Beloved had a slow wind-up and swing, all as one smooth action, Urbane has a slow wind-up and a fast punch. He's much more mobile in general and a greater threat. Both of them can fire an elemental beam similar to the Meteor Beloved. None of the angelic enemies feel like you're fighting different looking versions of the old ones, and that's nice. They can fill a similar role or niche in the hierarchy of Laguna and as obstacles for the player to overcome, but they don't replicate it one-to-one with just a fresh coat of paint. The squids walk on land, but when you fight them underwater, they swim. That's neat. I hate fighting them underwater, but it's neat that they swim. Enraged enemies have been a mechanic since the first game. Enemies could enrage, making them faster and hit harder. Bayonetta had a way of enraging them herself just for more combo points.
If you need to learn how to talk to a lady, ask your mum.
Taunting still serves to enrage enemies, but now they are far more deadly. An enraged angel is nothing to laugh about. This is why I have come to love Enrapture, especially on climax difficulty. Enrapture is the first of a new support enemy. Unlike his brethren, Enrapture serves to undermine Bayonetta by stealing her magic from her, taking away your ability to torture or climax. He's the Blue Balls wizard. Enrapture can also immobilize you, locking you in place for other enemies. Most importantly, however, is that Enrapture rallies other angels. He is the new Enrage mechanic. I love this so much. It's such a great way to shake up the gameplay because Enrapture is quite weak. The challenge comes from prioritizing and taking them out quickly while not getting stomped on by the enraged enemy. If I'm completely honest, there was one thing that bugged me. It was around chapter 3 that I really began to notice the absence of angels from the first game. I kept thinking, oh, I sure do hope at least some of them make a return.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
It is alleviated by the fact that we're facing an entirely new group of enemies in Bayonetta 2, the demons. The Hatred are strangely the closest thing to the Affinity in Bayonetta 2. They are not one-to-one copies, but there are similarities. They are foot soldiers vaguely resembling humanoids. They come in tall and short varieties, and they carry a selection of weapons. Unlike the Affinity, they move a lot faster. Think of the Affinity as riot police, slowly closing in as a squad. The Hatred are a pack of hyenas, circling with a clear alpha. They are happy to wait out of range until moving in while their pack leader attacks. They are lethal with their armaments, and I loved fighting these guys. Greed is a nod to Cerberus, the original Hell Doggy. I like that again, this isn't just a carbon copy of the angel attack dogs from the first game. The grab is different, and Greed has a head on his rear, allowing him to attack from both directions, usually with some sort of elemental attack. Oh, Resentment, what a cool demon. There are far too few of these, and he went down so easy on normal that it wasn't until hard difficulty I actually saw this guy's signature moves. Not only can he soul suckle Bayonetta, he can zap Bayo back into a defenseless child, forcing you to run away while he crawls to you. This is great, what a fun enemy to fight. Malicious is the demon's answer to Enrapture, who also enrages enemies. Unlike Enrapture, Malicious is quite deadly at close range with its sharp metallic wings. This is still a support enemy and does not do well without troops, but I like that it's got teeth. Enemies will naturally synergize. Melee angels will engage you while their ranged brethren may go unnoticed until it's too late. Greed demons will freeze you in place, allowing for an easy sniper shot from a Hatred demon. Now this makes combat far more interesting. Some enemies, such as bosses, will show a health bar in the corner of the screen, but most enemies do not need them because Bayonetta is smarter than that. Angels are adorned in beautiful gold and marble. As you deal damage to them, you chip away at their skin, revealing the disturbing flesh beneath, hinting that these angels aren't on the level. They're masking their nature in marble skin, and it's both thematic that Bayo peels it away, as well as a gameplay mechanic, conveying to the player how much damage they've dealt. That is genius. The bosses are all fun, and if the set pieces in Bayonetta 1 were impressive, in Bayo 2 they're fucking phenomenal. They range from big bloke with a sword to demon bug lady. They all feature well telegraphed moves, satisfying mechanics, and while some are obviously easier than others, the game felt like it had a nice curve to their difficulty. Sure, you smacked about Valiance, but what about his brother? Now this is a prop pally. He even spins to win like a true paladin. All jokes aside, this fight with glamour is truly unlike anything I've ever seen. It starts with a fucking wave riding segment, something Bayonetta has done before transitioning into flying through the skies of Paradiso. I think this fight, even if it's not the hardest, is the perfect example of Bayonetta 2's boss design. Because if a boss has more than one phase, they don't just add mechanics. The spectacle surrounding the boss has to change also. Like when you're fighting the Lumen Sage and he begins to summon angels just like the Umbran witches call forth demons, which is why Bayonetta intercepts his summon with her own, keeping the player's fight against him while the true extent of these characters' power plays out in the background. And when watching this footage, you might think it's too much noise going on, but I can tell you it's easier to follow when you're playing the game yourself.
If you need to learn how to talk to a
One of my favourite bosses is Aurane because she has such a varied bag of tricks. She's just fun to fight but I love them all. The Lumen Sage fights are absolutely the highlight of this game's boss encounters. The level design is beautiful, playing with verticality, gravity reversal, and very minor platforming, but always ensuring you have a clean space to fight in. I never got tripped up by scenery during a fight in Bayonetta. It wants no obstacles between you and the enemy. The arenas aren't all boring flat circles, but they are always fair and open. Despite being largely linear, which I love, there's nothing wrong with that, the game definitely has exploration, and they start to play with some more open plan areas as the game progresses. It works well, encouraging you to branch out. It can leave you worried you're going to accidentally progress by taking the wrong turning and miss something, but that just didn't happen to me. There was always something that made me think, okay, this is the way forward, so I want to explore over here first. That's good game design. The camera in the original was at times more scandalous than Bayo.
Damage report!
Casualty reports coming in from all over the ship.
We are losing antimatter containment. We've got to eject the core! All hands abandon ship! Repeat! All hands abandon...
Okay, that was an extreme example for comedic effect, but there were moments the camera became more experimental than Austin.
Got your mojo working overtime, darling. Yeah.
The camera for Bayonetta 2 is ideal. It tracks her easily, had a real nice feeling for which direction you want to go in, transitions into a nice combat view when you're targeting enemies, and you can set a zoom level in the options as well, so you can pull all the way back to see everything or zoom right into the cake cam mode. I settled for a middle ground and never had to touch it again. There is a passive soft target lock that is very good, guided both by Bayo's direction and the camera. Seldom did it select a target that I didn't want. Now I tried to get this camera to fuck up, but I barely had to touch the camera stick to adjust during gameplay. In fact, I only needed to do it when I wanted to look around a room for collectibles, or when I was in the underwater sections. As a snake, controlling that thing is just awkward. I hated Alfheims in Bayonetta with a fiery passion, and thank goodness they don't return in Bayonetta 2. Because they renamed them Mooseballheims. You fuckers, you just had to put them back. Okay, Alfheims are little segments that are totally removed from the rest of the level. You find portals, sometimes obvious and sometimes hidden, and go through to face challenge-based encounters. In fairness, they are far more forgiving than the original game. And some are a lot of fun, like defeat all enemies in a time limit, defeat them with only angelic weapons. Those are fun. Then there's this one, where if you touch the ground once, you fail. So what are my problems with Alfheims? Well, first, they totally change the pacing of a level, spoiling the momentum of the game. Second, that they contribute to the level's overall scorecard. So if you want pure platinum, you have to complete the Mooseballheims present in that level. I treat them as optional, I don't have the patience. As for the game's performance, for the most part, it's smooth as butter. This is on the Switch, and truly I'm not familiar with how these consoles perform. I can say I found the frame rate to be good enough for me throughout most of the gameplay, with some notable moments when you could feel it drop. If you're thinking, well, why not get a Switch too? This game was made for the Wii U, so if it doesn't run smoothly on the Switch, then Reggie, we got a fucking problem, mate. Fortunately, it does, and the only real FPS drops besides one or two verses were during the megaton mashing segments and a couple of cutscenes. If you want a clear picture, I would say 98% of gameplay and 95% of cutscenes were smooth FPS. That's good enough for me. Fan service is a great word that, in my opinion, has different interpretations. The most prominent is, of course, oh look, it's that character you like. Only this time in a swimsuit. Psylocke, Luna, Loki. Listen, he came with Psylocke, it was a bundle, and he's one of my favourite characters. Look, I don't need to justify this. I'm an aestheticist. I appreciate the human form. You don't see any Greco-Roman statues wearing anoraks, do you?
Ha! Gay!
Anyway, I prefer to think of fan service as giving fans what they want. I won't lie, I loved every chapter of Bayonetta 2. Oh, it's incredible. But I felt the early chapters, the roster of angels was a little smaller than I would have liked, and the familiar faces were missing. And while I was obviously overjoyed with the new angels, I was sad that no classic bad guys made a return. But this is Bayonetta, and it's made by people who care with love and passion. Chapter 13 and 14 are glorious. It is the best definition of fan service, even better than that anime sniper meme, because it delivers exactly what fans of the game are waiting for. During an event in the story, Bayonetta is transported to Vigrid. But not Vigrid, the bustling tourist destination. This is the Vigrid we've only seen in Bayo's visions from the first game.
I know where this is. I know when this is.
The witch hunts. We've travelled 500 years into the past. I can't tell you what it's like to look out over this architecture. It's more than just a duplicated level. These are the hallowed halls of the Umbran witches we never got to see. Sacred urns we never got to smash. Oh, I remember running up this corridor years ago after coming up through the joy-infested sewers. I smash a golden lockbox where the elevator will be in 5 centuries' time, and I turn around because I know what's coming. At least I'm hoping. And there it is! The boys are back in town! The Affinity return! Oh, with the old torture attacks! And the applaud, the big birds! If I smiled any wider, you'd ask how I got these scars. I'll chat about the visual splendour later, but for now, just smacking the classics about the old stomping ground is beautiful. But this time, we do not fight alone. Rosa, Bayonetta's mother, is here to help. I love this so much. The familiar Umbran style. I like that each witch has their own technique, and we can see Rosa fights more seriously than Bayonetta. This isn't about having fun. Mum is about getting the job done. Meanwhile, Bayonetta immediately whips out the classic pole dance move from the affinity weapon I grabbed earlier because some of the old classic angel weapons are back. These fights are long with plenty of angels, and you're fighting side by side with Rosa while angelic planar ships warp into reality. Even the old bosses make a return to fight. This chapter is like a greatest hits album, and I fucking love it. I just hope I don't run into, oh, you sons of bitches, grace and fucking glory. Okay, time to get smacked about. They even play the classic music for this fight, and look, when you initiate torture attacks, look! Bayonetta's mum helps her with them. This is adorable! I had genuinely loved every second of Bayonetta 2 up until this point, but I can't really find a word that does justice to how it feels to play this chapter. The word nostalgia is not appropriate. Nostalgia feels dirty to even say. Now this is like, it's like the end to Homeward Bound. Do you know the movie with the dogs?
Peter.
Shadow!
Oh, Peter. I worried about you so.
That's the emotion that I felt. More than just coming home. It's like your friend came home. That's a very strong emotion for any art to invoke. No part of Bayonetta 2 is cheap nostalgia bait. The Chewie We're Home clip was not just for the meme, because Bayonetta 2 is the Thrawn trilogy, not the Disney trilogy. If you know Star Wars, you will understand what I'm saying. The first game is very special to me, and to return to that, to see the classics with new bells and whistles, some brand new fights like the Angel Gym Rat coated in lava, right next to golden oldies like the twin dogs. To run through Vigrid again, new but old. Yeah, they did good. I do have one gripe, because it's like the man said.
What's the one thing better than an exquisite meal? An exquisite meal with one tiny flaw we can pick at all night.
I am really broken up about not having a single joy angel in the game. Look, if you've seen my videos, you've seen my receipts. But it's more than that, I promise. Most angels are bulky and authoritative. The joy are fast and live. They're capable in melee range with swords, mid-range with whips, and can perform ranged attacks as well. They can also dodge Bayo's attacks. They were just a really fun enemy to fight and could absolutely punish you from multiple directions if you were careless. But man, I can live with it because Chapter 14 finally breaks out the Umbran armor from the Records of Time segment right back at the beginning of the game.
As long as there is light, the shadow remains cast.
This is amazing. The Umbran armor handles a lot like Bayo's classic guns, the punches delivering solid hits with a Gatling gun as the hold attack. A kick delivers a powerful smack right to the face, followed up by a cannon shot. It has its own combos as well as jumping and lock-on attacks. It's just fun. Whenever I play games that do this, I think of Blood Rain.
Oh, I wish I could take that thing with me.
Rain is speaking for so many people right here, because nobody wants a turret section that lasts all eternity, like Duke Nukem Forever. But having a black and gold robot you can pull out every now and then, wouldn't that be great? Hey, listen. They fucking let you do it. The second you complete that chapter, you unlock an item in the Gates of Hell that morphs your regular Umbran climax so that instead of powering up your moves, it will summon forth Umbran armor for you so you can be a mechanized witch whenever you want. I love this game. And you know I'm telling the truth because I farmed the 500,000 halos to buy that item. Loved every moment. Little advice, don't be a mega bozo like me and buy stuff randomly. First thing you want to buy is Bat Within. This is basically an upgrade for your witch time, giving you an ever so slightly bigger window to dodge. Then save up for the Mallet of Rewards. The only thing this item will do to influence gameplay is make torture attacks throw more halos at you. It lets you buy things faster. It won't change or affect normal gameplay, unlike a lot of other accessories. You know, if you came here expecting just a regular review, I am truly sorry, and this is probably your first time watching one of my videos. Like and subscribe, follow me on MySpace, all that, thank you. It doesn't matter how honest I am about my experience, it's all scripted by the time it reaches you. So I'll just add this. I try not to throw around the word masterpiece too much. I truly do think it loses its meaning if everything is a flawed masterpiece, not quite a masterpiece. What the fuck does that even mean? It irritates me. But now that I've played Bayonetta 2, I'm comfortable in saying what I've always wanted to say. As a duology, Bayonetta 1 and 2 join the masterpiece shelf. They're masterworks separately. Together, they're like a collaborative magnum opus. If you're pondering the questions, which do I prefer, which do I think is better, the answer is this. I see them as one game. My answer is yes. I need to make it absolutely clear, I'm biased. I'm not saying everyone will treat these games as masterpieces. I'm saying they are masterpieces to me. A person so biased, they painted a Bayonetta model with another one lined up. So yeah, I'm into the series. The gameplay of Bayonetta 2 is fast, fluid, and gives you so many choices to play with. What weapon loadout to roll? Which combos do you prefer? Which accessories suit your playstyle? It delivers a fun, challenging adventure that I played through 3 times already. Fantastic. Yosuke Hashimoto, producer for Bayo 1, took over as game director for Bayo 2, with Hideki Kamiya taking up the role of supervisor. Hashimoto previously worked on another masterpiece, Resident Evil 4. And honestly, I think in an era where everyone wants to take someone else's IP and then ruin it...
Let's not do this in a way that feels like it's disrespectful of Trek.
I think I swallowed my combat.
Already?
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see someone come in and pull off not only a monumental sequel, but a respectful addition. All of Platinum Games and Team Little Angels deserve praise. Oh, I almost forgot, this game has multiplayer. Yes, in Bayonetta 2 you can team up with a friend in Tag Climax mode. As you play through story mode, you'll unlock verse cards. Verse cards are special instances of the verses you'll encounter in the story. When you go into Tag Climax, you'll be able to pick 6 of these cards to create a mix of verses for you and another player to fight with. This can be a friend, a random online match, or the CPU. I don't have Nintendo Online, and my friends hate me, so I played against the CPU, which I think is challenging enough. Okay, so I think I beat the machine on bosses. Fuck. You'll choose from various characters and weapons you've unlocked, so if you want to play as Jean with flamethrowers, you can. If you want to play classic Flintrock Rosa, do it. Balder? I hardly knew her. The sheer variety of the verses ensure that you won't get bored of combat easily. There's so much to mix up your set of 6 cards. She beat me by 4 points, this fucker. I'm getting my fucking ass kicked by AI. This is nuts.
It's the state of the world, isn't it?
Oh, don't say that, man. Jeez. While it definitely is friendly play, so you're not fighting against each other, it is competitive. You're competing against each other for points. What I especially like is that the overall performance matters more in Verse Climax. That's why despite losing 4 out of 6 verse cards, I actually won this contest.
Did I hog the spotlight?
I was more stylish than the computer. Man triumphs over machine.
If you need to learn how to talk to a lady...
There are even secret verse cards that will randomly appear while playing. Beating those will allow you to replace the verse cards at will, and any halos earned will be usable in your single player game. You can even wager halos to increase the difficulty of the Tag Climax. If you win, you get a big payout, but fair warning, the more you bet, the harder the verses become. Fuck! Okay. Jeez, this is... Well, I've lost all my money. What else? Oh yeah, there's a jet fighting section, and it is nothing like the missile riding segment in the first game. Can I just say that the missile riding segment is one of the most obnoxious things I've ever experienced in my life. What I can best describe as a nausea speed run.
It's important to mention that these fluids are highly contagious.
Worst of all, it is right before one of the best boss fights in the game.
This can wait no longer.
Jean. The jet fighting segment in Bayo 2 is how it was meant to be. Bayonetta 2 is a game I wanted to play again anyway, not just for myself, but because I wanted to see how the higher difficulties hold up, and if my praise for the game is justified. Some of the systems I've described could become completely frustrating on a higher difficulty. Of course, I can't just start hard without a new outfit, and when you beat the game on normal, what do you unlock from Rodan's shop?
Oh, you want to play with Bayonetta?
Oh, let's fucking go. We're back. And yes, the new costumes are reflected in the cutscenes. I went through the trouble of recording the horse riding scene a few times. I am that guy. Outfits are also reflected in the freeze frame cutscenes, so Bayonetta will always be wearing the costume you picked. That's an attention to detail I like. Lucky squirrel. And the hair spell casting works for the original outfit, so it will recede as intended. Perfect. Also, after digging around, I stumble upon something. When I purchased the super mirror from Rodan's with the original outfit, I also unlocked an old friend. The Scarborough Fair. Bayonetta's original guns. You have to be there to understand what this is like. These are the guns. 47 Silver Ballers, the Chief's MA5B, Lara's pistols. Don't get me wrong, I adore Love is Blue, and the moveset is great. But giving the player the original guns after beating the game, that's just a good choice. And what's more is you can mix and match like any other weapon. I love this blue hill stomp move where Bayo does this full yoga body lift. Look at that power. But I also dig the original Pow Pow from Scarborough Fair. I can't shut up about how good this system of weapon slots is, it's great. The original game had one of the hallmarks of a good difficulty system. Harder encounters that weren't just number changes. When you completed normal, you unlocked hard. Now hard in Bayonetta 1 didn't just increase damage numbers, it changed the packs of enemies. So Grace and Glory, enemies that first appeared in Chapter 5, would now show up at the very start of the game on hard. Bayo 2 does things a little differently. I finished normal and that unlocked some items in the shop. Going into hard, I realised the enemy placement was the same. The enemies move faster and hit harder, so I was at first disappointed. But after completing hard and unlocking Infinite Climax, I appreciated the difficulty more. I would say that the hard setting for Bayo 2 is on par with normal for Bayonetta 1, which I have to admit, I think Bayonetta 1 was a more difficult game. But I'm not complaining, I enjoyed both of them. They both do things very, very well. I won't lie, after a mostly silver-filled normal playthrough, going into hard and getting a platinum on Chapter 1 the first try, it's satisfying.
Like my new haircut?
And that's a huge part of the appeal of this game. You want to keep playing, to try again for a higher score. But I am happy just to say I completed Infinite Climax. The score is a long-term goal, and that's part of the fun. The replayability in Bayonetta comes from it just being a good game. You want to come back for more. But the whole point of this rant was to see if the game's systems work well at higher difficulties. And I have mixed feelings about Infinite Climax. Infinite Climax in the original would disable Bayonetta's Witch Time ability, which made completing the game quite challenging to say the least. That doesn't happen in Bayonetta 2, since the length of Witch Time now adapts to different fights and even different moves within that fight. Also, the enemy placement has changed, just like Bayo 1's higher difficulties. I'm now encountering far harder enemies right from the beginning, and the packs are strategically mixed up to present challenges I haven't had to face before. And it's fair to say Infinite Climax is harder. Holy shit, it's harder. I died more in the first 2 chapters than my entire playthrough on normal. I thought I was doing so well. Wow. I felt... Oh no, I pressed no by mistake! Shit!
He fucking dead, man.
Don't get me wrong. I love the harder angel and demon pack placements. Dying a lot is part of the fun. The challenge is intense, yet it feels beatable. The big angel bosses, oh, they're fucking awesome. The paladin main, oh, what a fight that is. I could do that boss fight all day. But the humanoid boss fights are where I am 50-50. While I enjoyed the early sage fights and of course Arane, the rest feel overtuned to the point Bayo's mechanics begin to break down. I mean, look at this. The move telegraphing is so sped up, it may as well not be there.
Look at it this way. Could have been worse.
And listen, it's doable. I did it. I beat the game on Infinite Climax. This isn't a get good thing. This is a it made me miserable thing. Trust me, I like getting stomped on. But this one is ending in an embarrassing trip to the ER, and I'm going to have a hard time convincing the nurse my hand slipped with a screwdriver. Twice. When I first beat Melania, I heard a call from the mountains like the Greybeards called out to me and said,
"Foul tarnished. You use spirit ashes. And that bullshit fire sword that knocks on her ass every 5 seconds. That's not how you're meant to play. You cheesed Melania."
Acting. And then, they were right. So I went back and I did it again. I still used consumables, but no spirit ashes, and it was either Nagakiba or Yuki. It's one of the fucking ninja swords, I can't remember. But the point is, I wanted to do it again, and what a feeling when I did. On Infinite Climax, the final fight with the Lumen Sage is suffering. No part of me wants to do it again. Reggie, my body ain't ready. This fight is harder than the final boss, and I won't lie, This is where I broke out the Kafka.
Yo, this Kafkaesque.
Having ranged superiority over the Sage just absolutely negates half the struggle. I chugged lollipops to give myself shields and extra damage as well as make myself nauseous. I did not have the patience to sit there for hours. Let me be clear. On hard, I love every single moment of this fight. But the difficulty curve in bosses between hard and infinite climax bears no resemblance to Bayonetta because it's less a nice curve and more of a fucking cliff. I got through all of hard with maybe 2 lollipops to avoid restarting a boss fight. I had to cook more lollipops during the fight to get through this one on climax. And yet, in that way, it is truly a harder difficulty. So I have to praise it for stepping the game up to such a challenging level. For me, it's both a skill issue and a fun issue. The hardest boss on other difficulties, Aurane, was conversely the most fun I had on Infinite Climax. She felt the least cheesy of all the humanoid bosses. The soul-sucking demon is the one who plays fair. That's crazy. Infinite Climax is not something I want to repeat. What the game needed was a mid-climax. The damage and speed numbers of hard with the enemy placement of infinite. Because the remixed enemy packs are fun and challenging, I love them all. Except for Sloth. Yeah, here we go. Sloth is a very fun demon to fight when he's alone. More than one just becomes frustrating in my opinion, and again, it suffers from the mechanical degradation when its moves are so sped up that I'm struggling to dodge at all. This arena is also far too small, and for the first time ever, I am constantly getting smacked against the wall of the fight. To be clear, this is not bad enemy design, it's poor encounter design. If you have an enemy that can 2-shot you, don't have 2 of those fucking enemies in the same encounter, because that's a 1-shot but they split the bill. This is the same bullshit as the twin gargoyles, I swear. Fucking bullshit. How did I beat these 2 sloth? I cheesed it with a Kafka.
You cheesed Bayonetta too.
But it's not all bad. Like I said, I respect them for creating a true ball-crushing difficulty, and as time went on I began to acclimatise. I was playing better than I had before, so, you know, it is 50-50. And while I do have grievances with a couple of boss fights in Climax, your experience will vary. Obviously, legendary skill players won't even notice a difference, and the game does give you the tools to beat it, just like Elden Ring, which is a weird comparison, but there it is. That's the most important takeaway from all this. Any complaints I have are minutiae. They're not worth mentioning. This game is, well, I know I mentioned them, but if I didn't complain a little bit, this would sound like a puff piece, right? There are some problems. Anyway, this game is truly made for fans of the original. How many sequels like that are made today?
We are looking for Maya Ruins.
Not very many is the answer. If you're finding normal and even hard underwhelming, then I think you'll enjoy Infinite Climax. It knows how to place enemies to inflict maximum suffering, and they are all faster to boot. They're ping-ponging me like I'm in Elden Ring. I'm seeing Gamora do moves that I never got chance to see in my other playthroughs. I don't know if they're fresh mechanics for Infinite Climax, or I just killed him too fast on normal. I got better with Climax as it forced me to be even more mobile. I'm using weapons I never really gave much chance before to overcome the Muspelheims, and these are challenges I actually enjoy doing. I learned that the Undyne are really effective against heavily armoured centaurs, melting the armour off them. Bayo 2 also brings back the Shuraba, the katana from the first game. Holy shit. I didn't even see this in there until I played Climax. To say they made this game for Bayonetta fans is an understatement. This thing even has its own Umbran Climax.
This too is fate.
When you beat the game the first time, you unlock Jeanne to play through the story. Jeanne isn't just a cosmetic skin, she plays a little differently to Bayo. Remember how I said Bayonetta can only dodge 5 times in a row before she gets tired? Jeanne never gets tired, she can always dodge. However, she can only activate Witch Time when using Bat Within, meaning if you want Witch Time while playing as Jeanne, you have to dodge at the exact moment of impact every time. Jeanne has access to all of the same weapons, but with her own colour palette, of course. And when you beat the game on Infinite Climax, you unlock the ability to play as Rosa. Rosa deals 3 times the damage, but the trade-off is she takes 3 times as much damage, and her only Umbran climax is the Umbran armor. She also has access to only one weapon, Unforgiven, but they are unique. Nobody can wield Unforgiven but her. Remember I said you could hold down an attack to make Bayo fire her guns? Not so much with Rosa. You can only fire 1 shot at a time, but it's a devastating shot. She's like a secret Italian ice cream parlour that only offers vanilla. They only do one flavour, but it's the best ice cream ever. The game is truly a work of art in every sense of the word. It's a stone's throw away from being a spiritual experience. That's not just down to the excellent gameplay though. A lot of that experience comes from the story and characters. The story of Bayonetta 2 is like Bayo herself, simple on the surface and complex beneath. It picks up right where the first game left off, as Baldur, the primary antagonist of the first game, dies and turns into light. During a Christmas shopping trip, angels decide to deliver some coal to Bayonetta and Jeanne, a duo of ageless Umbran witches.
Yeah, we're friends, just friends.
You can tell how seriously they take this angel attack.
Forgot the caviar.
Everything is going according to plan, mirroring encounters in the first game where no matter the danger, Bayonetta would triumph. But now, as she calls upon a demon to consume an angel, something has gone wrong. The demon has broken free of her spell and attacks Bayonetta. Jeanne throws herself into an oncoming death blow to save Bayo, killing her instead. And we watch as she is dragged to hell. This opening is great. It plays on the status quo of the first game, where Bayonetta is basically unbeatable by having her own magic betray her, and it isn't Bayo that pays the price, it is someone close to her. It then goes on to establish a goal, to find a way into hell and pull Jeanne out before her soul is absorbed. At the same time, it raises the point that Bayonetta's magic should not have failed, and that for the demon to betray its pact as it did, something is wrong on a cosmological scale. This is a great way to set up 2 stakes at the same time. Now we know we're fighting for Jeanne, but we might have to fight for something even grander in scope. Yet it keeps the priority on the personal quest, as it should. We're invested because Bayonetta is invested. The story is paced well throughout and quickly expands into a larger plot. There is no wasted time, everything flows like clockwork. Characters are introduced when the time is right and given enough room to breathe on screen with Bayonetta. If a new character enters the spotlight, Bayo gets to have a word with them before someone interjects, making for clean and simple to follow dialogue. It prides itself on its silliness and outrageousness while respecting the stakes at play. There are moments of sadness and serious where the heart grows heavy, yet Bayonetta succeeds at being able to make you smile when those moments end. The writing is very funny when it wants to be, and truthfully, humour in video games is either a hit or a cataclysmic miss. Bayo is the former, and I must admit I did find myself laughing. The story is beautifully told, first through gorgeous animated cutscenes with kissable cinematography, the use of camera angles like when Bayo's looking down into the broken roof, this slow crane revealing the hole in the tiles, followed by a hard cut to be looking up at her through the hole. It's simple, but it's so smooth. The use of this close-up and low angle with Rodan looking over his shoulder, it makes it look like he's up to something. I love when Bayo first reaches Inferno. You can feel the weight here as the camera pans around to reveal the vortexes of hate before her. It's one of the few moments in the game the music is subdued. You hear the malevolent choir gradually creep over her. This is a place she never wanted to be. This is to say nothing of all the amazing combat scenes present in the game. It's hard to imagine the work that went into these. Fortunately, Platinum Games love to show the work that goes into their games. I love this shot of Bayo and Jeanne walking down the street. Dutch angle, elevated dolly cam, perfectly framed perspective lines for the sidewalk. Look how they frame this simple shot of Luca appearing from behind a foreground wall before centre framing him with the rays from the window, finally the close-up where he lifts his head. These are Resident Evil 4 levels of cinematography. The second type of cutscenes are the returning freeze-frame style. Unlike the first game, which featured a nice film reel motif, Bayo 2 uses rotating clock hands, and I'd liken them more to comic book panels in their display. It's a good choice. Time is a central theme of the game, and for the Umbran Witches themselves. I also like that it meshes with the race against time factor. I have one complaint about the dialogue in this sequel, and it's that the general dialogue can feel too focused at times. Any other game might suffer from a lack of focus. Bayonetta 2 suffers from too much. There are fewer verbally indulgent scenes, especially between Bayo and Luca. It still delivers them, I just would have liked more. In the original game, I've read that Hideki Kamiya said they built the levels and boss fights, then wrote the story to link them all together. I can honestly believe this. And yet, I liked it. I know it's a bit messy, but man, the original story just caught me by surprise with how unapologetically fun it was. Bayonetta 2 feels like the opposite. It's got the previous game to build upon and a clear narrative in mind. The downside is, the game has a clear narrative in mind. How is that a downside? It just means a lot of the dialogue serves the plot. There are still moments that feel like the helicopter scene.
Cheshire, look.
Oh, I'm looking.
But they are just that. They're small moments, not entire scenes dedicated to being silly.
Oh, fuck me.
I still love it, and I truly respect the choice to integrate the plot of the first game while telling its own story. It's so fucking ballsy, because whenever media does stuff like this, the potential to screw up is huge. People will say you cheapened the original, you mocked it, and there are far too many instances where people are right to say these things. It's easy to swallow a shitty sequel if it's just a sequel that's bad. I mean, who cares really? There are 3 Indiana Jones movies. I don't care. But thinking that you know better, or that you can do something better, without being respectful to the original material, well, that's a sign of, dare I say it,
sheer fucking hubris.
This is what happened with the new Star Trek stuff. I watched almost all of Star Trek Discovery, and not once did I go in with a closed mind. I was ready to like it. What a fucking mistake that was. 5 years. I can't believe that show lasted 5 years. Who kept it alive? Victor fucking Frankenstein?
Season 1 was all about war, and in a time of war, there's darkness, there's urgency, there's a lot of things that Trek hadn't quite done the way we did them, and that's why we did them. Alex Kurtzman just said here that Season 1 of Discovery was about war, something Star Trek hasn't really done before. Here is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, a 7-year TV series that featured a 5-year story arc about war. You see what I'm saying? I'm ranting about this because Bayonetta 2 is the total opposite. Bayonetta 2 is like a tribute song and an encore at the same time. It's like Taz Skylar getting into insane shape and learning to cook to play Sanji because it's what the character deserved. These things come from love, not ego. I absolutely think it's great. And sure, I'd love some more verbal banter that served no purpose. It's purely personal preference and not even a footnote criticism. Bayonetta 2 succeeds in fleshing out the first game, telling its own story, and then linking the two together. It never undermines the first game, and yet in its own way, completes it. To discuss this, I'm going to talk about the main story in detail now, and I will spoil the finale of the game. Look, for real, I am going to retell and analyse the second half of the story, so please, if you know you want to play this game, skip to the next chapter. There is far more at stake in Bayonetta 2 than just Jean's soul. With Balder's death, the cosmological balance of power has tipped, and the eyes of the world are again up for grabs. It seems it was no mere accident that Bayonetta's summoning went awry, for at the same moment, a Lumen Sage is brought forth from the past to be gifted a chance at vengeance.
I know the one
who destroyed your love.
I like this already. We've got an A plot and a B plot. If you give someone a personal quest, you need to have opposition to that quest. Bayonetta is great because it makes both quests personal. For Bayo, it's saving Jean, and for the masked man, it's revenge. On her quest to save Jean, Bayo travels to Fimbulvinter and encounters Loki, where the two are attacked by that Lumen Sage. It's revealed that Loki has no memory of who he is, and also that Bayonetta is not the target of the Sage. It is in fact Loki. The young boy has somehow wronged the Sage so badly that he has come to kill him. Something Bayo obviously takes issue with, but she's also got to save Jean. After some back and forth, the two decide to work together. Within the mountain of Fimbulvinter, we finally reach the gates of hell, only to encounter the Prophet, Constellation Enjoyer and Pythagoras' biggest fan. He wants not only to see Loki dead, but to take the left eye of darkness, the eye still within Bayonetta. The Prophet also shows us a vision of truth. This was a place the first game brought us back to over and over, as we pieced together the circumstances surrounding this moment, the day her mother died. But now we see what happened before Bayonetta and Jean reached her. Baldur was there, and we learn the witch hunts were orchestrated by the angels, not just to wipe out the Umbra, but the Lumen Sages as well.
This war is not your doing.
No, it is not. I was deceived. Deceived by the light.
If you remember from the first game's Records of Time, you'll know that the two clans existed in mutual respect and harmony until one day they just started fighting. And when push came to shove, the Umbran witches beat the Lumen Sages. They'd all but wiped them out until the angels attacked the Umbran. Whatever promises had been made, it was so the Angels of Paradiso could eliminate both clans. Now both the player and Bayo learn that not only was Baldur betrayed by the Angels of Paradiso, but he did not kill her mother. It wasn't even an angel, for in the dark there was another.
Baldur!
Rosa! What have you done?
Rosa's final act was not to die at the hands of a traitorous lover as we'd fought, but to sacrifice herself to save the father of her child. This one detail, for me, is what I love about Bayonetta's storytelling, and I'm talking about both games here. The devil is in the details and the seconds of lost time. The foggy haze of memory are concepts used so well in these games.
If you've made it this far, that should be enough. You're back to your old self. When the eyes of the world are within our grasp, the power of creation will be awakened. That is why the left eye, our treasured left eye, will never fall into the hands of another. It is time that this is brought to an end. That you are brought to an end. You did it.
In the first game, Jean is the antagonist until we remember who she is, and then we realise she is pushing us to remember, testing us to make sure we can triumph. Jean is not the enemy. She is in fact our greatest friend.
That is why the left eye, our treasured left eye, will never fall into the hands of another. I will not stand for the wild ambition of a treacherous Lumen Sage. Do not fear your fate. Stand, Theresa.
Memory is everything. It's our collective experiences. It's who we are. Without it, who are we? And by this same train of thought, is Baldur the enemy we once fought? The game puts this question into your head. It makes you question your recollection of the first game. And that's a very clever thing for a story to do. Whether it is true or not is immaterial. Bayonetta is here, and now the Prophet will reclaim the left eye. The sequence of events leading up to this paints the Prophet as a game player. There's a very good chance he was directly behind Bayonetta's summon going wrong, meaning Jean's soul hangs by a thread purely as a means of luring Bayonetta to Fimbulvinter, to his place of power, where he hopes defeating her and claiming the Eye will be easy. The plot hole question is obvious, but how could he have known Jean would try to save Bayonetta, causing her to try to reach the gates of hell? He may have had no idea Jean would even try. Like, she could have been back at the shop getting the caviar at that point, but since the gates to hell are located in the same office building, I imagine it would have been easy for him to have a chat with Gamora, make him go rogue. Hello, I'm trying to reach Gamora. Eat Bayonetta, drag her down to hell, then go downstairs, take the left eye from her before she gets consumed by Arone and call it a day. It didn't go quite to plan, but it's close enough.
But no bother. The return of the eyes is simply a matter of time.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
Or it would be, if not for Loki. In a moment, he fulfills his promise to Bayonetta and slams open the gates. This serves to push our personal Jean story forward and to endear Loki to the player after grating on us for so long. Loki has helped us, but we just saw him kill Bayo's mother, so is he evil and just doesn't remember, or are we being deceived?
Who are you?
You pretend to forget me. Yet even if your memory may now be lost, the remembrances of time exist forever.
In Hell, we team up with Rodan to slay Arane and get Jean back. It's done perfectly. It wraps up the reason we came down here and does so in an emotional moment.
Please, Jean! Wake up!
While also letting us know that even dead, Jean is still an Umbran witch.
Be careful, Cereza. Something big is going to happen to our world.
I know. Just go home. And no stopping or turning around along the way.
She realised something was up and warns Bayonetta as well. The game never forgets who its characters are. Loki is here also, and soon we learn why the masked Lumen has been chasing him. He is Baldur.
Well, that's a shocker.
He's come to avenge Rosa and will stop at nothing. After an amazing fight, we see Baldur's true power is enough to stall even Bayonetta.
Not be forgiven. He will never be forgiven. My soul is a lumen. He will draw his last breath before me.
Remember, this isn't supervillain Baldur. This is a man consumed by vengeance. This isn't some evil plan, it's a fire that burns. If Bayonetta would throw open the gates of hell to save a friend, imagine what her father would do to avenge her mother. I know some critics and authors say revenge is a worn-out motivation. What a load of shit.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Did you all have a good laugh? Eh? You have a good laugh when he was spewing it out? Eh?
There is no more base drive than vengeance. It's like the fourth need. It brings out a side of people you never imagined was there. I think it's great because in my mind, Bayonetta has been built up so much in the lore of the games that the only person who could stand in her way is a soul on a quest for vengeance. What a perfect choice. But Bayonetta won't falter. She will not see an innocent, especially a child, come to harm. She's our hero, even if she's a tad unconventional. The clash of titans triggers a memory in Loki, and a hidden power explodes, encompassing them all. We have just been thrown back in time, not a memory or records of time. These are the witch hunts. The day that Baldur was betrayed, and the angels elected to slaughter the witches and sages both. We see Rosa fight and truly know where Bayonetta's power comes from. Rosa and Bayonetta fight side by side, and although it doesn't explicitly state it, there is the implied hope that this time things will be different. Has Bayonetta been given a chance to save her mother and change history forever? All these action-packed set pieces, an exciting trip down memory lane, they're building you up to a moment that never comes.
Rosa!
Time is not so easily broken, but perhaps it can be bent.
We need to get back to my time.
Baldur now knows the true assassin of Rosa, the Prophet. Both the player and Bayonetta see firsthand that Baldur would rather stay here with Rosa, cementing in her mind that whoever her father became, he was not always the monster she would come to know. Reluctantly, he lets her portal them back to the future. Where Jeanne is awaiting them with her own fighter jet. No explanations as to how she commandeered one, nor for how she knew where to take it. The lack of context is absolutely startling, and I need to stress this. In any other game it would be lazy. In Bayonetta it's window dressing to set up an answer to one simple question.
And your kind are?
The kind of witches you don't fuck with.
And before us we see angels and demons working together to stop Bayonetta. I've always liked how Bayonetta's angels were coated in gold and marble, but as you smack them about, it reveals the fleshy, twisted nature beneath as writhing eyes look out at you. It's not just biblically accurate or a genius way to show how they've taken damage, it's thematic. It's conveying to the player that these angels aren't on the level, and for me this closes that loop. Whether they are truly sources of good and light is irrelevant, so long as they are controlled by the hand of chaos, a hand we must cut off. The Prophet is none other than the hollowed half of Aesir, a god. Yet the game tells us even he was chosen to watch over humanity, hinting at an echelon of power greater than him.
Bayonetta, shall we illustrate?
Let's rock!
Father and daughter are given the chance to finally fight side by side. If you remember the first game, Jubileus, the goddess of Paradiso, was defeated by Bayonetta before being finished off by Queen Sheba, the goddess of Inferno, and then tossed into the sun. But now, with Witch and Sage working together, a melding of the two is summoned. Half gilded feathers, half raven black hair. Now this isn't just cool, it's symbolic of the two halves in balance, light and dark. At last, the relationship with her father has been mended. When we finally beat the villain behind it all by smacking, kicking, and having John's demon chew him up, his spirit attempts to escape to another time. This is, after all, a god, and not so easily slain, even by Witch and Sage combined. However, Baldur realizes there is a solution.
You will never see another era trapped inside me. Only an endless circle of time.
Baldur, in his moment of sacrifice, locks himself and Aesir into an endless repeating loop of time, knowing full well that the evil within will change him. Wherever he ends up, he will be twisted, a villain of a man. And so he asks Bayonetta that should the time come, she be the one to stop him. A promise we know she has already fulfilled. This for me is perfect. You ever feel like more narratives are trying to make everything fit together neatly for no reason? But Bayonetta 2 does it right. And why is it different? Because it's not ticking boxes that read lore accurate or canon, it's doing it for emotional weight, for story, for closure. Bayonetta's memories were lost to her in the first game, with no idea of who she was or where she came from. And in regaining those memories, she learns not only of her past, but of her future, for she now knows she's not alone. Her Umbran sister lives.
You and I are going home together. John, we're both one of a kind.
But so does her father, a man we know to be behind the angelic supervillain plan and possibly the architect of the witch hunts. To stop his plans and save the world, perhaps avenging her mother in the process, she kills him in the most fucking awesome finisher I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't talk about this in the first spoiler-free review, but holy shit, this is awesome.
Don't fuck with a witch.
Bayonetta 2 closes the circle by granting Bayonetta the chance to fight alongside her mother to finally learn the truth about her death.
Rosa, I'm so sorry. Please, please be still. I will save you.
Her father did not murder her. In fact, her mother died saving her father. This grants justice to her parents' characters by making Rosa into a stronger figure than before and redeeming Baldur somewhat in the eyes of the player. The story shows where Bayonetta's strength and determination come from, but more importantly, her heart and spirit. It comes from them both. After this, the rest of the game helps to mend her relationship with her father. It does this not with cheap tricks. There is no narrative square peg in a round hole. Everything fits together seamlessly, and it carries emotion with it every step of the way.
My name is Baldur, but if you so choose, you may address me as Father.
I could never call the man behind this nightmare father.
Cereza, just one time. Call me Daddy.
Daddy.
Thank you, Cereza. My dear, sweet child.
Daddy!
And even here, the sequel respects the original because this isn't the same man. This is the last time she ever sees her father alive. My eyes were not dry, but my excuse is it was very cold this winter and they water when it gets cold. The way the game lets you build up hope that you might save Rosa, only to snatch it away. It's heartbreaking and never dares to cheapen Bayonetta's origin story by erasing it or overriding it. This is a level of respect, restraint and storytelling genius that you do not see every day. You usually see the complete opposite. The Bayonetta duology is, as strange as it sounds, a time paradox story up there with Time's Arrow from Star Trek The Next Generation. Along with Bayo's personal story, there is a pseudo-redemption arc for Baldur. I say pseudo-redemption arc because anything evil he did in the first game was as a result of his selfless act in the second game, so technically, from a chronological standpoint, Baldur did nothing wrong.
I am not a hero. I am a mere defender of the office.
I love Bayonetta 2's ending because it carries the exact same energy as the first. The best endings, I think, are the endings that show something has changed for our characters, but some things stay the same.
What else has been happening?
Well, Taylor's got the hots for one of the new Marines.
That is not true.
You know it is.
Hardly new either.
They show that their adventures aren't over yet. It's the all good things effect. What a perfect way to end a TV show.
I'm moving back and forth through time.
Picard has changed. He's got a greater understanding of the universe and humanity's place in it. It's the point at which his rapport with Q comes to fruition. He's seen his true age, their future lives, and how quickly things can drift apart. These elements culminate in the most unforgettable ending, which is insanely simple for a science fiction show.
Is there a problem, sir?
No. I just thought that I might join you this evening. I should have done this a long time ago.
And then the Enterprise goes off for more adventures. Quark understood how to write a perfect ending.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
This is the same trick both Bayonetta games used.
Morning!
Slightly different themes, but this is their USS Enterprise flying off. The first game ends after Bayonetta saved the world, remembered who she was, and gets Jean back. She's returned to doing what she does best, kicking ass. The second game ends after Bayonetta saves the world, spent time with her mother, fixed her relationship with her father, and got Jean back. Then she returns to doing what she does best, kicking ass. Both times, she grows as a person and is a force for good in the world. Hell, she even acknowledges she could be kinder to Enzo. A perfect ending to a perfect duology. It doesn't rely on referencing the original, despite its jaunt to the past and its attempt to create a story thread that spans both games. It isn't dependent on nostalgia. However, when it does call back, it always does it well.
Well, at least you're the silent type. The last sage I met spent 20 minutes rambling on and on.
This is a little nod to the first game where Baldur talks in one of the longest cutscenes known to man. The characters are that in every sense of the word. All of them are larger than life, but most of them are grounded in the sense that their struggles are relatable. No, I don't know what it's like to beat up a demon with my hair, but most people know pain, love, and Christmas shopping.
I'm afraid I don't have time to dance too long. A friend is waiting for me.
Bayonetta is classy, confident, powerful, and sexy. I could talk about her all day because I love her. She is one of the few instances where the sexy marketing is character and game appropriate. The entire game is laden with sexual tones and suggestiveness, but it's always playful without straying into being vulgar. Likewise, Bayonetta is living sex appeal, saucy, sadistic, and fun. Even the way she walks is perfect, with an exaggerated hip swing because she is here to have fun. She's mocking the marbled authoritarian angels with every step she takes.
Call it a woman's intuition.
Her sexuality doesn't feel forced or fake like other characters. It's liberated and free. Although I felt we see less of her flirtatious side in this game, it's primarily because Luca isn't around as much. Luca was the primary ball for her to bounce, let's say, in the first game.
Oh.
Without his presence, it's not going to happen as much, but the game still works because that was always just one aspect of her character. Bayo gets less chance to be lethal with her lines in this outing. It still happens, but some of the razor edge we see in the first game doesn't make a return. It's a shame, but also this is a different Bayonetta. We see more of her matriarchal side that we begin to see emerging in the first game.
I'm not normally one to play savior, but I suppose I can make an exception and kill all of you. Just this once, of course.
She's also on a different quest. This is to save Jean, not to kill Baldur. The mood fits the sequel without defanging her. And don't get me wrong, she's still Bayonetta.
New model, huh? I hope this one lasts a little bit longer.
The lines are there, they just don't happen as much.
Trapped.
Never.
I've said before, if James Bond is masculinity taken to extremes, then Bayonetta is femininity taken to extremes. And none of these feminine masculine traits bullshit, I just mean she is maximum woman. An empowering icon for anyone, really, who doesn't want to feel as comfortable in their own skin as Bayonetta. And what's more, she's actually funny.
You never were much of a morning person, were you?
Comedy in video games is either a hit or an unbelievably wide miss. Bayonetta, along with the other characters, make me laugh. What's my favourite aspect of Bayonetta? Let's be serious for a moment, come on.
I said let's kick ass, not lick ass.
Bayonetta, Cordelia Chase, and Quark. What do all of these characters have in common besides fantastic hair? Cordelia Chase is a socialite mean girl. Despite seeming as deep as a saucer, Cordelia has...
What? I can't have layers?
I was getting to that. She often hides how she truly feels, maintaining a cool veneer for her own benefit and protection.
You think I'm never lonely because I'm so cute and popular?
Well, if you feel so alone, then why do you work so hard at being popular?
Well, it beats being alone all by yourself.
When the time comes, however, she's capable of dropping the charade.
You're a sheep. I'm not a sheep. You're a sheep. All you ever do is what everyone else does, just so you can say you did it first.
Cordelia is brutally honest, yet compassionate, and not without bravery. She is a complex character, masquerading as an obvious one.
When you love something, never lose it. Understand, little one? You must keep it safe, close to your heart.
Drum roll!
Welcome, Klingons.
Not that one.
Quark is a Ferengi bartender aboard Deep Space Nine. He's all about money, wealth, and profit. He's a flirt too, of course. But he's capable of bravery and kindness. Always at odds with Constable Odo, the apex of law enforcement. Any scheme Quark has going is usually shut down by Odo, so you would think he would love to see him suffer. Quark, however, is a man whose greatest enemy is his closest friend.
But I'm just looking out for my business.
For a minute there, I thought you were talking to me as a friend.
Nah.
He is a complex character, masquerading as an obvious one. If you watched my Bayonetta 1 video with a voiceover so echoey you'd think I recorded it in an Oblivion dungeon, you might remember I said that about Bayonetta. She knows pain, loss, and compassion. The confidence, power, and sex appeal she oozes is all real, but it's just the loudest parts of her. And I think a lot of people didn't give her the credit she deserved when the character debuted because, oh look, she strips to cast magic spells. And I think that's what makes Bayonetta such a great character, because people that played the game love her for this side, but they also got to see this side.
Let's just say she's not having a good day.
No, she isn't, little one. But she'd still be alive if she hadn't wasted her life saving mine.
What I like about Bayo is while her actions are usually heroic, she's still got that Parker energy to her.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Oi! Well, whatever. If your sovereignness is going to get in my way, our deal is over.
She will do the right thing, but she has her own goals to work towards, and she would rather those take priority. She isn't a reluctant hero, she's more a, I suppose I can help along the way hero. Bayonetta, despite the coldly amused air she projects, cares about people.
I can't focus on what I need to do here if I have to worry about you off on your own.
She'll do anything in her power to save someone, even if that means kicking them up the arse. She doesn't mope about when things go wrong or let a dire situation get to her. The closest she comes to being tearful is when she thinks she's too late to save Jean. But Bayonetta doesn't cry. Her face and voice convey the anguish she feels. And within seconds, she bounces back. It's not just a false veneer. The surface level we see of Bayonetta is who she is. But it's just the surface side. Beneath that, she's complicated. She's a complex character, masquerading as an obvious one. There is truly no one quite like her. In Noaton, we encounter a child calling himself Loki, a bit of a trickster with a Yu-Gi-Oh deck. And when we first meet him, I would say he grates on the player quite a bit, which I think is risky. But it's a choice that pays off as he and Bayonetta acclimatise to each other over the course of the game. Eventually the two build up a rapport, and as is classic Bayonetta, she cares for him, even if she would sooner die than show it. He also lacks most of his memories, something which Bayonetta can relate to, and it results in a truly lovely conversation between the two.
I spent 500 years not knowing who I was. I only found out the truth recently.
You too? Listen, I don't remember a thing. Nothing.
The true turning point of his character comes when they reach the gates of hell, when Bayonetta reveals that Jean is in hell because she sacrificed herself. Loki realizes the gravity of Bayonetta's burden. He sets aside his own goals for now to help her.
Fimbulventer can wait for now. I'm opening the gate.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I can't just leave you at a shuttered gate after your sob story, love. Besides, who's gonna save you if our stalker decides to show up again?
And then brushes it off with an excuse, just like Bayonetta would. It's great. It's a very difficult thing to write an abrasive character and make them likeable later. Dr. Cox and Dayron spring to mind. It does take a long while for it to reach that point, and it's not the same as the relationship between Bayo and Cereza. These two butt heads. Loki is confrontational and annoying. That might be an understatement. I have never heard the word love spoken aloud so much in 30 years of being English.
Nothing comes to mind, love. Whatever, love. Not a clue, love. I'm fine, love.
I have seen more Tracer content than I care to admit, and I still haven't heard her say love as much as this. Dick Van Dyke up a fucking chimney was more respectful representation of the English language.
Goodbye, Governor. Sorry to have troubled you.
But his annoying persona works because he's constantly put in his place by Bayo.
But since this is your bloody mess, do you mind hurrying the fuck up and getting rid of this thing?
Now, that's no way to talk to a lady.
The consequences for his character being abrasive are real, which is good writing. She keeps referring to him as Little One, but unlike the first game, it's not always used endearingly. It's often a biting remark.
Let's move, little one.
Hey! I just told you my name is...
You'll earn your name when you become a man.
Bayo 2 is about echoing the past with a slightly different reflection. Which is why when we're first introduced to Luca, equipped with his new glasses that let him see into Purgatorio, he's swinging in to try and save Bayo from an angel attack. Again, just like the first game, going straight for her bum. But he forgets how Purgatorio works. Just because he can see her doesn't mean he can touch. This is perfect character introduction. Even if you hadn't played the first game, you know what Luca is all about. He's dashing, brave, romantic, and occasionally comic relief.
Bingo.
Best of all, Bayonetta calls him by his name.
Luca?
Now, throughout most of the first game, Bayo refers to him exclusively as Cheshire. There are multiple levels to this tiny detail in this cutscene. You might have missed it earlier.
You'll earn your name when you become a man.
Through the events of the first game, you know she's come to respect him, and now that the air between them has cleared, the playfulness is genuine from both directions.
Just don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Cheshire.
Don't you worry about my nose. I can smell trouble when I see it. You just take care of yourself.
This time when she calls him Cheshire, it's lovingly, the good sort of pet name. It shows how far the two have come since their first encounter, and how Bayonetta sees him as more of a man. Luca doesn't get nearly enough screen time, one of my biggest complaints with this game. I will say that I liked the interaction between him and Loki. In fact, it's around here that I began to warm up to Loki because he was teasing Luca using Bayo's own words as weapons.
Hey, you're the pervert staring at Bayonetta's tits all the time. You really need to learn how to talk to a lady.
Hey, I am no... Wait, how did...
One of my favourite characters is, of course, the Lumen Sage. The determination, the wrath, the sheer focus and drive. He's a new sort of character in Bayonetta because he's wholly serious. There's no extra attitude or wackiness. He's a spear, straight and to the point. And yet he's just a joy whenever he's talking. And his relationship with Bayonetta is a wonderful thing to watch change as the game progresses. Enzo, Rodan, Jean, all the supporting characters are great, larger than life, and you're never unhappy when they're talking, only when they stop. I think that's great. If you never get sick of hearing a character, that's a good character. Hell, even Loki. Remember I mentioned that scene earlier with Rodan and the Red Portal? How it was much more than just a callback to the original game? Well, first of all, it demonstrates Bayonetta doesn't repeat herself. She told Rodan she'd handle her own business, and she will. But this time Rodan doesn't act cool and dismissive, he actually hits back with a genuine sentence.
You think you gotta do everything alone? I'm here to help.
This is probably the only time Rodan shows any real emotion, and it's a testament to his voice actor Dave Fennoy that the line stays so memorable. Jean's soul is at stake, and I think for whatever reason, this time Rodan isn't just glad to see her succeed, he doesn't want to see her fail. There's no moment where Rodan sweeps in to save the day. In fact, he actually puts a dampener on Bayo's killing blow for his own purposes, because the game doesn't forget his character. He's got a job to do too, but I respect that they explored him more in this game. Even the bosses have character to them. Aurane, the Whisperer of Dementia and Insanity, is one of the only talkative demons. We've heard angels speak plenty of times, and their voices are usually deep, booming male voices, authoritative and serious.
What do you fucking say?
The only exception to this would be the Joy and Jubileus, who sound like they're having a good time. Aurane, by contrast, has a female voice, naturally, but it's more than that. She's soft-toned, almost friendly.
What the fuck did you just say, Sal?
Even if the angels are antagonistic, they are usually straight up with Bayo. Interfere and die. You can't get more honest than that. I'm not saying they won't lie, but only as part of a larger plan. There's no joy in it for them. No pun intended. But Aurane is a demon, and unlike every angel that has stopped to talk to Bayonetta, she is curious, amused even, that a human has wandered into her hellish palace.
I came to pick up a friend. It's almost her curfew.
This is one of my favourite lines in the game, and it's followed up by Aurane describing vividly how tasty Jean's soul was, and then offers to let Bayonetta leave the palace unharmed. Aurane is toying with her, something the angels have never done, but something Bayonetta herself does all the time. In response, Bayonetta summons forth Madama Butterfly and smashes some of her palace. Aurane then changes her tune, realizing a witch stands before her, but even then, we learn that her rage is directed at the demon, not the witch. Aurane has history with Madama Butterfly.
Good thing the three of us girls enjoy a good catfight.
That's great. The world building alludes to a universe beyond our main characters, but doesn't dwell on it because it's not relevant to the story. Aurane is devouring Jean, however, so she has to go. But I like that she's very different to the angels. She's not just fire and brimstone, she's playful in a sick way.
Welcome to Thimbleventer.
Aesir was a real joy. He's not quite as ostentatious as Baldur, but he's got that villain flair. I normally hate that cool-spoken, detached villain thing. It's been done to death. He's even got that white anime hair. But it works because the context of Bayonetta is absurdity. So it fits that the god of chaos is not some burning, hellish, demonic lord, but actually quite mild-mannered, well-spoken and clever. A true manipulator. He thinks himself above it all.
That is the one, is it not?
Bayonetta's world building is a narrow yet deep ocean, favouring fleshing out its small corner of the world rather than wasting breath on anything else. There are probably dozens of Umbran witches and Lumen sages worth knowing, and yet that isn't what the game is about, so it doesn't waste its time. Baldur's probably got mates he went to the pub with, we'll never see them. What it does is provide enough depth to the angels, the demons, and the world we're faced with when playing the game. And there are lots of journal entries to collect while exploring the world, written by who else? Luca.
Bingo.
Providing flavoured backstory to the locales, the denizens, and the powers of the universe. You can go back and read these whenever you want. Every single enemy has a unique lore entry and gives us some information about them, helping to round out our knowledge of the hierarchy of Laguna and the demons of Inferno. I like that we got to witness Rodan making one of the weapons he crafts. That's a great touch and one of the few moments the game allows itself to lose focus from the main story. Again, not complaining it had that focus, I just wish it had given itself a chance to breathe more often. The story and characters of Bayonetta both work to create a world and narrative you're interested in playing through without ever dragging its feet. You're never bored, you're never tapping your finger waiting for the cutscene to end, it's just an enthralling adventure from minute one until the music stops. Okay, enough yapping about the story, let's press on. I've got a new mini-segment for special occasions, character design. This is to bridge the gap between something that is both characterization and visuals. It doesn't belong in either segment. And it's not just to pad out the video runtime, I just start talking about Farscape or Stargate, whatever.
When we agreed to let you stay on, Moira, you promised to adapt to our ways.
I changed my mind. You adapt to me.
The design of Bayonetta is a fundamental part of her character. I've covered a few characters who have an iconic look. Agent 47, Master Chief, Leon Kennedy. All of these characters look amazing, different, and have one trait in common. They're professional. Agent 47 may have a grim sense of humour, the Chief may have a huge heart, and Leon might be the biggest Chad to ever walk the earth.
No thanks, bro.
But they're pros. At the end of the day, their character design reflects that. Then there is Bayonetta.
This is why I never buy anything on sale.
Nothing about this woman is professional. She's classy, sexy, and powerful. How do you design an outfit for some of the most athletic combat you'll ever see, make it sexy but keep it classy at the same time? It's a tall order, maybe as tall as Bayo herself. I talked about this in Bayonetta 1, but I'm going to do it again, I'm a broken record. It's the difference between a sexually overt character and character sexualization. The former is a character whose design reflects their personality, the latter is someone that's sexualized for the sake of it.
John. It's nice to see you again. Though it did take a little longer than I expected. I'm not often disappointed.
Alexis Sinclair from Sin is perfectly designed. There's no sexualization here. No, trust me. The character flaunts her sexuality as a weapon. If Alexis was a stoic, quiet prude, then the design would be either satirical or just bad, and her outfit nothing but a cheap gimmick. But she isn't. She's a huge flirt and tease.
Oh, John, don't look so grim.
Her overt sexuality is reflected in her wardrobe, and the best pair of lungs I've ever seen. That woman can laugh.
Oh, John.
Alexis doesn't breathe through her skin, she just knows how to have fun. And to be clear, I have no problem with a sexualized character. To back that up, here's my receipts. What I'm saying is that a sexualized design would not be good enough for Bayonetta. But that is not the case. Bayonetta is sexually overt. The way she talks, the way she moves, her playful, teasing nature, and above all, she's glamorous and graceful. It's only natural that it would be reflected in her design and outfit, because that's what good character design is. A culmination of the character's personality, goals, and capabilities reflected in their appearance. And that's why the master returns, Marie Shimazaki, she who brought Bayonetta to life with some of the best character design I have ever seen. The way Shimazaki successfully balances blue, black, silver, and gold is fantastic. Careful thought went into how revealing the outfit would be, and she ultimately decided upon an open back. To make sure the little cape over the chest stood out, they kept Bayonetta's suit closed at the front. I like this for so many reasons. It keeps Bayonetta classy, likening her outfits more to backless dresses instead of boob tubes. Yet they added revealing diamonds on the back of her legs because she's still Bayonetta. Hair is not only a key part of Bayonetta's design, it's a key part of her magic. The fact that part of Bayonetta's power is her hair is such a wonderfully feminine choice. So taking away her tall updo and replacing it with short spiky hair was such a ballsy move, and yet it works. Marie Shimazaki purposefully chose to give Bayonetta long legs to counter a stereotype of female leads having thin, short legs. Not only did this set Bayo apart from the rest, it gave her real height, a physical representation of her confidence and power.
Nice legs. For a human.
Even Bayonetta's face is sharply feminine. There's very little softness. The spiky hair complements her facial structure further. She just looks lethal. Her white frilled cuffs and collar paired with those curved shoulder pads give an almost aristocratic look. They're classy and regal. Remember, Bayonetta has been around a long time. She was probably around when ruffs were in fashion. And this is a stylish update to that classic look of big white cuffs and collar.
Look at that. Look like a floppy penguin.
The silver inlay paired with the blue medallions give the outfit an air of mysticism and the esoteric. This is an outfit for a modern witch. It's uninhibited and sexy while staying classy and stylish. Crazy how Bayonetta can be described with the same 4 words. Character design. Bayo is one of the best visually designed characters I have ever seen, and she isn't alone. Every character in the game looks phenomenal, but more importantly, their design reflects who they are. Shimazaki is a master. Enzo is a respectable businessman now, but he's still Enzo. A round and rude Italian with a penchant for talking like a classic gangster. His outfit reflects this. A beautiful cross between those amazing suits Silvio would wear and Tony on his better days. You know, when he wasn't in shorts.
Don doesn't wear shorts.
Shimazaki said that Enzo's design came easier than any other because the character is so easily understandable. Wannabe Italian gangster. While most of his colour scheme shifted towards the dark red, Marie Shimazaki kept the tie green. In her words, to display my unwillingness to let go of the past. That's beautiful. I love how Shimazaki describes working on John, stating, Kamiya came up to me and said, I want to put her on a bike, draw me a biker suit. Such a simple design brief, and yet it's like Shimazaki spins fucking gold with her fashionable creations. However, she also said that this was an instance where she churned out so many biker suits just to get that one that Kamiya approved of. Kamiya said, Jean looks flatter than ever. And I'm talking about her tits. And and Shimazaki went on to say he was happy about it too. So that's fine, I guess. I fucking love this. I will link to the blog post down below. They are not long, but are a fantastic read, and give insight into the choices behind some of the best looking characters ever to grace video games. Shimazaki writes, I wish I was a witch and could just summon my hair into any hairstyle I wanted. I get it, girl. Trust me, I grow it shoulder length and my hair will puff out every single time. I won't God of mischief, and I end up looking like Danny DeVito in the fucking wig.
Hello!
Let's move on to the sound and music, which is absolutely phenomenal. I want to rewind to the first game a little. Surprise, surprise. The Records of Time. Who can forget the explosive introduction to the world of Bayonetta? One of a kind is this dark, grand piece that captured the scope of the battle while managing to sound like a gothic tragedy. These are the closing days of the witch hunts and the final hours of the Umbran clan. So what about Bayonetta 2? It begins with the legend of Aesir, the piece that accompanies Luca's narration and the incredible Records of Time fight. What a way to welcome the player back to Bayonetta's world. The choir, the orchestra, it perfectly captures the scope of what's happening, the clash of dark and light. It's biblical and a retelling of history, just like the first game's Records of Time. But while the first game's records sounded tragic, The sequel is soaring. I know there's a lot of attention given to the vocals and I can see why, they're outstanding, but I personally love the bit where they go silent to let the orchestra sing. It's like a guitar riff in the middle of an opera. The first piece of music was to accompany the witches' final stand before they are wiped out. The second glorifies that fight. You can even hear the war drum beating in there. The order of witches may have been extinguished, but never their spirit. It's a grand, sweeping, classical music, operatic in its energy, and when you realise the context, that this is how they felt before their stand against the angels became their last stand, it's inspiring. And what could follow such a heavy and weighty piece? This perfectly sums up Bayonetta 1 and 2, if I'm honest. Eclectic majesty that works. The energy from one moment to the next can be totally different, yet seamless. Even this music choice speaks volumes. Bayonetta 1's classic of choice was, of course, Fly Me to the Moon, one of my favourite songs, the original and the Bayo remix both. I've always been old at heart, so for me it was a treat to hear this. The lyrics, the pacing, the pole dance, the remix of the piece fits Bayonetta's classier side. It's fun and intimate, but there's a weight to it. Remember, she's lost her memories, no idea who she really is. There's a sadness to the song hidden in the ever-moving groove, the feeling of loneliness and the melancholy of being incomplete. She's confident and powerful throughout the entire game, but something is missing. And in playing through the story, she finds it.
You and I are going home together. John, we're both one of a kind.
Bayo is a character who has never needed anyone, but now she's no longer alone, which is why Bayonetta 2 picks another classic, Moon River. And again, the song can be said to sing of loneliness, but that isn't the case here. It sings of a longing for a life of adventure, where you're swept up in the moment, the only constant companions being the moon in the sky and the river, wherever it may take you. Which is how I choose to interpret it. Because the energy, the pacing, the way it's used in the prologue, it's used to show Bayonetta is now living her life, her memories restored, her friends around her, and every day is an adventure. Fly Me to the Moon is asking. Moon River is telling. Same groove, different energy. Before she was looking forward with no idea of what's behind her, now she's moving forward with the sun at her back. I've played games that called upon multiple musical genres. One of my favourite examples is the electric guitar used hand in hand with the classic fantasy score within Wrath of the Righteous. It translates to us how inhuman the demons are. It's only in one track on the entire score, but that electric guitar says it all. Demons do not belong here, so here's an instrument we won't use for anything else. The genres blend. Then there is Bayonetta. It doesn't so much call upon other music genres as it does create its own. It's truly like nothing else. It wields jazz, funk, classical and choir all at once and somehow makes it work. The combat music swings from grand to groovy. Every boss score is powerful and captures the mood of the fight. Arane's first phase sounds like classic Bayonetta. It's fast, jazzy and casual. But then she throws it back and the music pays respects to her demonic power. But you can still hear that piano in there. I love this so much. It's genuinely scary, like she's coming for you. Bayonetta's boss music has always had this overbearing, biblical scope to it, but this isn't awe, it's fear. This is something Bayo's soundtrack does very well, calling forth different emotions. The arrival of angels is heralded by a heavenly choir, just like the first game. The signature church bell ringing when the Angelic Codex entry appears just completes the music. And I've only now just realised I could have made a joke about ringing Joy's bell. Despite their presence as enemies, the music is hopeful. Demons, however, have no such pretense. They crawl forth with deeper, evil vocals. The music feels twisted and daunting. Even the bell ringing is replaced by what sounds like a soul being burnt into the paper. Incredible. Demon or angel, when Bayo triumphs over them and the climax attack comes out, the music shifts from biblical fight to groovy, upbeat jazz, reflecting the defeat of the serious by the silly. While the boss and set-piece music is phenomenal, so are the incidental tracks, the smaller tunes between the colossal set-pieces. I can't stop thinking about how it was to hear the old Vigrid notes remixed into the new themes. You can hear the difference here. In the first game, the Central Station Plaza was basically a tourist destination, the first step on the pilgrimage to the Holy City. You can hear the difference. In the original, the music is in the foreground, the choir hanging on as echoes of the past. They're in the background, underpinning the significance this place once held. In the sequel, the instruments take a back seat. They are now far away while the choir takes precedence. We are in the echo. Some of the original composers returned, but not all, and some are new to the franchise, which I think is the reason Bayonetta 2's soundtrack is so good. There are people who worked on the first game and were there when the standards for its music were carved in stone, and there are people who clearly understand the creative vision but are brand new, and bring their own energy. Composer Hiroshi Yamaguchi talked about how Norihiko Hibino was responsible for the cutscene soundtracks, a specialist in capturing the emotion of a scene and having the music work with dialogue, while Rai Kondo primarily worked on battle music. He's a name I recognise not just from the first Bayonetta, but also Dragon's Dogma.
Now there's a fine treat.
His ability to represent the scope of a boss fight elevates these tracks into unforgettable pieces of music. Yamaguchi would go on to add, "We all focused on Bayonetta, creating tracks brimming with personality brought about by our individual styles, all the while becoming inspired by each other's work and thus pushing harder each and every day. You can't play these two games without feeling the passion, love and drive that went into them both. And with Bayonetta's soundtrack, you can hear that passion." I haven't even mentioned Tomorrow Is Mine, the signature theme of Bayonetta 2. I can't be sure, but I believe Bayo 2 actually expands upon the original Baldur theme with another couple of minutes. The music when Rosa makes her introduction, these are beautiful drums. There's a ritualistic feel to it. Rosa is an old school witch, and her music matches that. Even the Christmas shopping music is perfect.
Hey, I'm talking to you!
The voice acting is superb, and I need to correct something here. When I reviewed Bayonetta, I only played it through with the English voiceover because I do not speak Japanese. Look, I watch like 4 animes. I keep trying to pronounce it Satsuki Kiryuin. I'm a tourist and I'm a dub guy, not a sub guy. Unless it's old Joseph. It's a shortcoming of all my reviews that I only comment on the English language voiceovers because listening to every language is an insurmountable task. But I failed to realize the impact of the Japanese voice of Bayonetta, Etsuko Tanaka. I am sad to say Etsuko Tanaka passed away in August 2024.
子供をいじめるなんて大人のすることじゃないわね。子供じゃねえ。
Is it any surprise she voiced Motoko Kusanagi and Hamon Master Lisa Lisa?
あなたの才能が素晴らしいということは試してみて分かったわ。
She voiced Merwib in Final Fantasy XV, she was the Japanese voice of the classic Lara Croft, and she has been voicing powerful women since the 90s, with a list of works so long it would be daft to pretend I have heard a fraction of her performances. But I went back and heard her as Bayo, as Kusanagi.
相変わらずね。どこで見つけたのか変なメガネまでかけて。
A powerful voice and a true loss. I can say without a shadow of a doubt her work's legacy will last as long as an Umbran witch. That's a long time.
お前たちは魔女を舐めないでね。
As for the English voice cast, Helena Taylor is Bayonetta.
I don't have time to give a shit about who you are or why you're going to the mountain. Take me there and make it quick. You stay with me, and I promise you'll end up in one piece.
I'm aware of some disappointing real-life stuff surrounding her being replaced in Bayonetta 3. I am here to discuss her work on Bayonetta 2.
Do I look like a ma'am to you?
To that end, she perfectly captures the well-spoken witch, combining the naughty and playful while remaining devilishly articulate. Her performance brings real emotion and weight while maintaining that powerful, confident air the character requires.
I didn't ask you to tell me what I already know, Rodin. Especially if you're going to be flip about it.
You can hear her smirk when she speaks. It goes beyond the facial animations.
Risking everything for nothing. Seems about right. I know another little boy, just like that.
Add to that, good voice acting is essential for jokes to land, and Taylor pulls it off beautifully.
I don't know what you did to piss her off, but whatever it was, nice.
Every line she delivers has energy to it. There isn't a single thought just glossed over, unless it's intentional, and even then, the delivery is so natural it's spooky. Bayonetta is the best example of high-class sexiness in gaming, and Helena Taylor projected that sex appeal like a 15,000 candle power bulb, along with a perfect blend of eloquence and not giving a fuck.
Don't tell me you came here to rescue me, like some kind of knight in shining armor.
Step away, Umbra Witch. This is not your fight.
Crispin Freeman as Balder. I think he had big shoes to fill after Grant Albrecht's performance as Balder in the first game. This is not the same man he's portraying either. He's younger, less ostentatious, less flair. This Balder is focused, sane and driven.
Your impudence will cost you your life, witch.
And Freeman absolutely nails it. You think you're in the presence of a verbose Lumen sage, fueled by vengeance. He mostly sounds angry, but is given the chance to flex other moods as the game progresses. And it's a welcome change as he carries the character well. I quickly want to add that Albrecht returns briefly for some additional dialogue as Old Balder, and I want to praise his performance in both games. He just oozes ostentatious, decadent evil.
I must say, I'm truly impressed you've made it this far, child. Like father, like son.
Magnificent. Two great performances, and I have to say Crispin Freeman was Winton.
Enjoying the exhibit?
Hey, wait a second! I ain't done here! If I don't get what I came for, I'm gonna be the biggest mutt in the city!
John Cassier as Enzo. Now, I need to highlight something here because this is an instance where I thought the voice actor had not changed.
The info I got is good. It's gonna get you close to finding the other stone in the pair and figuring out some of that lost past of yours.
Chick Venera did an incredible job as Enzo in Bayonetta 1, probably one of my favourite character performances for such a short amount of screen time. He gave life to Enzo. He became that character with that performance.
What the fuck? They're here? For this douchebag?
And I am sad to say Chick Venera passed away in 2021. To my knowledge, Enzo was his final role.
If the other half of this bill ever finds you, you can pay me back.
and I had no idea that John Cassier had picked up the torch because he absolutely slips into the Italian leather shoes. I swear it's 1-to-1.
Forget about it. And what's this Ceresa shit?
He becomes Enzo, sleazy, self-centered, but now with a little bit of a heart. It's no small feat to not only be respectful in his performance, but capable of continuing in another's footsteps. There is so much energy in his delivery, yet it never feels like caricature, despite Enzo being a caricature. Yuri Lowenthal returns as Luca.
But if there's one thing I've learned in my line of work, it's when I found you, I found the story.
You can hear the excited determination of the dashing reporter in his voice. This time around he's playing a more travelled and seasoned Luca.
Seasoned? It's a horrible thing to say to a man.
He finds a nice balance, so the character sounds more experienced and adult, but still with a youthful heart. I like how Bayo sounds a little more contemplative in the sequel, and Luca sounds a little more insane. It's like they're a good influence on each other. Although we don't get as much Bayo and Luca screen time, the chemistry between these two shines through.
Just don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Cheshire.
Don't you worry about my nose. I can smell trouble when I see it. You just take care of yourself.
They just slip back into the old routine, and I love it.
Can you believe they tore my dress to shreds? Right about here, I think it was. Absolutely criminal. There's such a thing as a time and a place.
Grey Delisle as Jean. Her voice acting credit list is huge. She's gorgeous, and she is the voice of one of my favourite portrayals of Catwoman.
Sorry to disappoint you boys. It's just little old me.
She brings her own brand of powerful, elegant nonchalance, managing to match Bayonetta's vibe while keeping her delivery unique. It's criminal she didn't have more to say because she brings Jean to life. You can hear the strain in her voice when it's needed, and she excels at prolonged punchlines that are all too easy to get wrong.
You're not the kind to let that sort of summon go out of control, Bayonetta. Something's up.
Dave Fanoy is Rodan. His voice rolls like a powerful entity, tired of playing by the rules of either side, so he set up a bar. You can hear the power in his voice. It's not gruff, it's deep and old, while still managing to sound like the king of cool. Just a great performance, and I was glad he had more to say and do in Bayonetta 2. I like that we hear both the light and dark side to the character, and Fenoy projects that wonderfully through a casually threatening presence.
Do I look like the rescuing type? If you were to kick the bucket here, I'd be all over your soul like a hungry hyena.
Mark Dougherty as Loki, and man, this guy had his work cut out for him with some of this dialogue, I won't lie.
Come on, love. Before I show you the way, love, I got nothing else to say, love.
But he sounds good. For the universe of Bayonetta, this is the perfect rendition of Loki.
Besides, even if I knew, she and I have a special relationship.
Then this will be all the easier.
Shit.
He sounds smug, arrogant, playful, but knows when to bring out the sincerity.
Umbra Witch. I am who you shall face.
TJ Ramini as Aesir was a real surprise to me. There's a lot of quiet malevolence and power in his performance. Like the character, he subverts the anime trope and comes off with a unique sound.
Very well. If you will not listen, then you will see.
He's not a psycho killer, he's an elevated being. He brings emotion, but it's diluted through the lens of a god. I love the sound design of this game, both active and passive. Every punch, every kick, every blast and burst sounds phenomenal. Whether it's a chain attack from Love is Blue,
so close.
a slice from Rakshasha, or just bringing down the hammer. They're all appropriate, distinct and powerful. No weapon sounds weak or floppy, which is essential for this game. All the little grunts and groans, I know what you're thinking, but I'm actually talking about the horse boys, the demons. Not only do they react to your impacts, but they give an indication of when they're going to attack. I appreciate how the classic angel sounds return for the original lineup because it shows just how good the new sound design is. The new angels still feel like angels, yet none of them sound like the old ones. The accolades sound like these bulky, angelic troopers clad in heavily gilded armor, while the affinities sound like scrawny, vicious foot soldiers. And while the centaurs have deeper, gruffer vocals, they retain that same bird-like squawk that most angelic enemies share, distinct but familiar. I love the demons. There's an insect-like sound to them, writhing, scurrying. Every movement makes it sound like they're burrowing up from beneath. But there's also this vicious reptilian edge to their vocals, or low gurgling snarls, the unnatural clank of metal when they shift. It's not the sound of armor plates moving like the angels, it's more like dragging of chains or some metallic raptor is stalking you. For the demons, Bayonetta 2 pulls from horror, and it works beautifully. The ambient sound is good. Vigrid in the rain, forget about it. Rain is pretty easy to get right though. What's a little harder are the jungles of Inferno. Writhing like an alien ecosystem. The huge tendrils squelch beneath your feet. There is even a special sound for those vortexes at the start. You can hear the souls crying out. Noaton's docks are what you'd expect, and they sound lovely. What I did notice, however, is a lack of ambience in certain spots. Take a few steps into the city and listen. This is a level of silence only dreamed of in cities. The game sounds good, what more can I say? I listen to the soundtrack while working, while I'm doing the dishes or just sitting up at night with the lights off in a display of unhinged behaviour, but no time to cry for help. Let's move on. I think graphics are a really boring thing to judge a game on, so I'm doing visuals and spectacle, and that's how dazzling and interesting it is to me within the style of the game. Bayonetta 2 looks glorious. On a technical level, there are some textures I think had a lower than ideal resolution, but only under heavy zoom or scrutiny. For the most part, everything looks good. I didn't realise at the time, but a lot of the environmental design in the first game came from the mind of concept designer Ikumi Nakamura, the lead concept artist for The Evil Within and the woman who single-handedly carried the Bethesda E3 presentation in 2019.
We are making a new kind of action-adventure game. It's spooky.
What else happened that year at Bethesda? What we got here?
As someone who's worked on the Elder Scrolls for 20 years, it's been incredible to bring this world to your phones in an all-new way.
Oh.
Since it's E3, we're releasing our biggest update yet, featuring all new jobs and solo arena battles.
Look at this guy can't wait to fucking leave. She did a fantastic job, but would not return for Bayonetta 2. Hiroki Onishi would take up the mantle of lead environmental artist, and his work is gorgeous. In my Resident Evil 4 review, I said that the environments looked so good because the team flew out to Spain and the UK to take photos to use as textures and references when designing the levels. Which is why the Bayonetta 2 team flew to Brussels, Florence and Venice to give them a clear picture of the architecture they wanted to draw inspiration from. The cobbled streets, aging bricks and canals are just some of the elements that were used to craft Noaton. It's this beautiful amalgamation of French Gothic and classic Italy, with vibrant colours, careful detailing and stunning streets. It's a place you'd want to spend a summer. I love the Venice influence, the architecture, the coated bricks weathered away by the canal, the classical balconies over... guys, come on, cut it out. I'm getting glamour shots for my YouTube video. One of the things I noticed about the first game is the lack of blue and green. The game has a predominantly red, black and brown colour palette, which make a nice contrast against the white and gold angelic enemies. It's a very stylish and cohesive look, but I have to say I prefer Bayonetta 2's vivid colour palette. The sky and the water are both bright, blue and clear. The grass looks alive and colourful. And when we revisit Vigrid, we've got to return to those browns, but now paired with black skies and roaring fires. It hits all the colour notes of the original game. Brown, black and red. It's perfect. At first approach to the Noaton docks, holy shit, just look at this. The shimmering light in the water, the framed plaza with an overlooking balcony on one side and a street level market on the other. Part of me is shocked that there isn't a fight in this place. It's built like a perfect arena. But I also understand that this is coming right off of that steam locomotive prologue. This is to let the player breathe for a moment, and it does that in gameplay and visuals alike. You feel relaxed here. I love this courtyard so much. This is peak area design. We've got a central location with a covered walkway around the outside. In the middle are quartered sections of grass, broken up by stonework that carries a little waterway. Even in this corner of Noaton, the theme of running water is preserved. Look at the roof tiles, they're just perfect, and the single tower off to the corner to give an idea of the world beyond the walls surrounding us, a sense of scale, shadows cast by the green trees, the wonderful detailing of the archway pillars. And when you reach Inferno, I love how it's not just some fiery hellscape. This is a landscape of red, twisting vortexes and barren rocks, but also of blooming, perverted life. Inferno's flora is pulsing, moving, connected with dark roots and thorns. It's home to lethal-looking red growths, contorted trunks and sickly blue leaves. It has its own ecosystem. You're walking through a plane where evil literally grows. It feels more like a disconnected jungle, and that is such a creative way to present hell. Every corner of Bayonetta is beautifully designed and intricately detailed, while giving the player plenty of unobstructed room to fight within. Areas that are sparse are bleak by design. The rocky cliffs of Inferno are meant to be desolate. The undersea tunnels are empty to make navigation easier. I love this room in Vigrid. It's some sort of Umbra council chamber with a large round table, the windows casting light that is then caught by the decorated iron bars. The new angels fit the design brief of the original game perfectly, while doing their own thing. Stalwart, heroic defenders on the surface, but twisted, fleshy things beneath that marble skin. Working the bright colours into the creamy white marble and gold creates easy to recognise ranks or classes. They venture even further into the weird and wonderful for Bayo 2, but never depart from that initial key vision. But is it any wonder, seeing as how the game's director Yusuke Hashimoto wasn't just a producer on the first game, but also designed the angels. In fact, a few of the enemies you see in Bayo 2 are designs from the first game that were cut for time or budget, including the greatsword-wielding Valiance. What a great looking foe, with its blood marble skin that sets it apart. What's special about Valiance is that it looks more human than any other angel, if you ignore his head being on his sword. What's even weirder is that along with its fleshy underside, there's some sort of bloodied metallic substructure, like this was assembled somewhere.
He's more machine now than man.
The demonic designs are just inspired, forget about it, they really are. They could have gone down the fire and brimstone path, keeping things in line with the gilded and feathered angels, but instead they make them look physically vicious. Their edges and lines are sharp, cutting, often metallic of various shades. There are some reptilian features, but for the most part they just look truly alien, and that's a great choice. There's no facade to break down like their feathered counterparts. The demons are monstrous from the get-go. I do love that there are the classic winged imps, however. The Fury are just cute evil. Every visual effect, from the ambient rain of feathers to the magic that accompanies your combos. There is not a bad looking visual or spell effect in the game. The UIs are all clean and easy to read, but they all have fashionable flair to them. That nice witch's journal paper background. Very easy on the eyes. The animation is on a whole other level. The slick enemy motion, the smooth combat animations, the facial expressions with use of eye and tongue movements. These fighting cutscenes are superbly animated. I love how characters have actual character to their movements. Everyone moves a little differently. Bayo puts her hands on her hips. Classic. Luca moves like a musketeer. Loki can't take a step without attitude. It's lovely to see such personality put into them. This isn't even mentioning Arane's dance moves. The game just looks gorgeous in every possible way. But that well and truly is enough yapping. It's summary time, and I'm starting with the negatives because I want to end on a positive note. Some Muspelheims are just frustrating. Infinite Climax could be a smoother ride, and the game does eventually end. That's it, that's the negatives. Can I recommend Bayonetta 2? 1000% yes. It is one of my favourite games of all time, one of the greatest duologies ever made. They're more than games, and you will come away from them richer. And I know this is a Bayonetta 2 review, but you don't need a Switch to play Bayonetta 1, and it's often on sale on Steam for under £5, or I guess a little below $6. Bayonetta 2 is amazing, same as the first. The first may have more challenging combat, the second may have had more time to polish things since the original, but they're both masterworks and a combined masterpiece. Bayo 2's pacing is nigh on perfect, and its combat is fun, it's amazing to look at and plays well. You can't go wrong, and I love it. I loved it so much that I wanted to do something a little extra. I'm not really a figure collecting kind of guy. Nothing wrong with it, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm more about creating stuff, making things. So, in the words of Bayonetta.
Now making them? Well, that's another story.
This beautiful model is by Zenith Studios, and it captures Bayonetta falling in style. This video was delayed for 2 reasons: over a month of laryngitis, and because the model presented a lot of challenges for printing and painting. This is the second model I have ever painted in my life, and the first time I've tackled skin tones, so please be kind. I printed it at a smaller scale, however, the angel base it comes with is not a lore-accurate angel. It's also very big and hides her eye, it obstructs the rear side of the model. I wanted a nice simple base with less guts spilling out. So I found this lovely tiled floor from Goonmaster, don't laugh, and did my best to emulate a Noaton style of coloured tiles. I know this looks precarious, but it's held up by 3 brass rods in the boot, and trust me, vertical is safer. Laying this thing down is the fastest way to break the delicate bits, so I can't believe I'm saying this, but the last thing I want to do is get Bayonetta horizontal. There are gaps because this is held together by tack at the moment, as I need to fix some details, but please understand, I needed a break from this. I am a beginner, this is not a beginner model. I used some additional models for the customized base, the details are on the screen now, and all of them are high quality and easy to print in my opinion. I love the pigeons, I think they're adorable. Painting these silver filigree details killed me because my hands tend to vibrate. Ladies? Where are her glasses? They broke, they're tiny, I need to reprint them. I had to make the earrings and the jewellery on the boots thicker in Mesh Mixer, and they were still prone to breaking despite using ABS resin. The hair is... oh wow, let's not even get started on how much I hate hair. Painstaking is how I describe printing and painting this sculpture. All that being said, this is a gorgeous fucking model. Her expression is perfect. Zenith Studios outdid themselves. Oh, I'm happy. Sorry for rambling. It's just painting makes me happy, and creating these videos makes me happy too, and I think that's why I love Bayonetta so much. These games make me happy, and if you've sat through my yapping, if I've made you laugh even once, then truly I appreciate your time. Thank you. The first Bayonetta will always be special to me. Amongst other things, it reignited my passion for single-player games. It helped me remember to savour their experiences. It's why I compare games like Blood Money and Mortar to bottles of fine wine. They're best enjoyed at their own pace. Then there are games like Bayonetta, which is like a weekend in wine country, but you're on a roller coaster. I'm glad to say Bayonetta 2 is as special to me. It's a game I will play again. There is no higher praise, no number out of 10 can match that in my opinion. If someone wants to do something more than once, it must be pretty good. Or a basic bodily function. And like I always say, good things come in threes. So I can only hope Bayonetta 3 lives up to the hype. But I am just happy we got another Bayo game because truly, it's fantastic. And from just one expression, we all instantly know what Leon's thinking.
Long time no see.
Ada.
Leon, you have to find some way to get inside.
She is in fact a tall grey wolf with big tits. Okay, I'm gonna have a hard time beating the furry allegations after this, I know it.